What camera are we on? Good afternoon, good evening, and good day. I think it is still morning on the West Coast. If so, good morning to you guys. The computer was fighting me this whole time. Some of you might have seen the attempts to get online, and let's finish setting everything up, because as you can tell, we're back on the web instead of in our software. The software thinks that it can't connect to the internet, and the software is not the software. The web is super jittery. Sorry about that. All right, so this is on the live streams. We're not using AI. And then we want you guys to be able to see the chat afterwards. Then I need to go back to stream help. At some point, I'll delete the extra upcoming shows. It says connect your streaming software. There we go. I was going to say, if it didn't work again, I'd be a little upset. Okay, so we've got audio. Let's quit this thing here. I heard a little bit of echo. No, don't save. I didn't ask you to turn it on in the first place. There you go. Now I'm going to resample the audio. That's much better. Okay, so next we need, I've got my notebook here. Well, I did. Where'd you go? There. And we'll go ahead and close the streaming software since it's not doing jack except slowing things down. Let's go with the Control Q, Command Q, I guess. Then we'll check Task Manager or whatever the thing's called, Activity Monitor, and make sure it's actually going. It likes to stay open. Yep, there it is, still running. Nobody asked for it. Let's do a force quit. Okay. Back to where we were. An update to my mouse. Well, not my mouse, but the mouse software. We'll do that later. There you guys are. Now we need to add everybody to this program because it's not the usual one. Although this link might work for the folks on Tesla Live Show. Let's see, because it's the same software. Open up, let's do a message to the other folks. They're on the live stream. And paste that there. Yeah, it is the same for the Tesla Live Show. So if Mark or Patrick wanted to jump in, they could. And then I'll send the email. And we'll get started. As soon as I find where email's hidden itself this time. Oh. I was not aware that I was, one, still sharing that, two, that people are using it. I'll have a chat with them. Sorry, a lot of distracting stuff on email. Do what we were in email to do and send this link to the folks. To there. Yep. 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 Okay. This will be 20 seconds. Let's start. In the web studio. And send. And then Google thinks I got hacked. It's just that the software tried to get in so many times with that, what he thinks is a flaky connection, that it didn't work so well. So now Let's go ahead on over to our... Oh, this one's easier. I forgot about that. So let's go over to share. I'm in the browser. Let's do this. Let's move you guys. Break this out into a new tab. Do I want to do that? No, I don't want to do that. Let's do this. Let's do... Since this is working now, we'll reuse this tab for the first article, and we'll go from there. All right, so we've got the lithium refinery in Texas. The first thing I got on the top. So let's do that. And then we'll break it out into a new tab. Okay. No, it wasn't. Don't say that. He thinks I used Facebook to sign into something, but really what happened was Facebook was disconnected from this streaming program, and I reconnected it, and that, yes, I did sign into it, but that's not how I authenticate to the software. So now let's go to screen, and we'll pick the lithium article. The good thing about this is it doesn't matter how I size the browser, it'll just work. There it goes. And we will adjust my little view here. Yeah, close enough.
Sorry, I didn't get that. The internet isn't reachable.
I don't recognize that robot voice. It's complaining that the internet isn't reachable, which is the same thing that the streaming software said. So both of those things must be using my dead DNS server. My little mini server pooped the bed. It had a little drive failure, and I haven't put it back online yet. And that's probably what killed the streaming software. And I don't know. I don't recognize that computer voice. Don't know what was talking to me. It said, sorry, I can't do that right now. Something to that effect. The internet's not available right now. You probably heard it because the filter is off. It's not Siri's voice. It's not Apple. It's not Amazon's voice. Or Google or Microsoft. And anything else isn't plugged in. Anything else that could possibly have a microphone and a speaker. It's not my phone or the work phone because they don't have that stuff turned on. Not these earbuds on my waist because they're not in my ears. Super weird. Let's check out chat real quick and then we'll get started. Anders says good evening. Hey Anders, welcome to this. It was a wild show. Let's call it that. It's a wild show. But it's cool. So Tesla right here is talking about Tesla's launched the first large-scale lithium refinery in the U.S. And I think it's cool. It's going to help out. We talked about it on the Tesla Life show, so I'm not really going to delve into it too deeply. Let's pull in the notes, and we'll just kind of go simple on this. Got one browser, one camera with nothing on it. Well, the camera's, but just the screen on front of the camera has nothing on it. And then my notebook. Oh, I can't go that simple because I need the YouTube control panel. I tried. There we go. I didn't even check to see if X is working right now. Let's find out. Let's click on my icon, my avatar. It says we're live. Let's click on live. Oh, I didn't have to. It was already showing. All right, good. It's back to the notebook, which has been completely covered by X. There we go. And I don't trust it to open in the correct window, just like we had on last Sunday over at the inn. So I'm going to copy and paste the links. So this one was interesting to me. I was a little bit salty, as usual. It's because the promises made were not the way that the promises were implemented, basically. So the head of FSD is telling us that Ashok is saying that FSD 13.2.1 is rolling out wide to AI for customers. That plus the holiday vehicle software update is coming within a week. Team's working on a much updated 12.6 for AI3 customers by the end of the year. So we've got 9 days to get the AI3 folks done, and I don't know if that includes legacies or not. Why am I so salty and cautious and all this with the legacies and whatnot? Because if you don't get your hopes up, you can't get your hopes dashed. It's not to say that we're not out of support. We haven't got an email saying, yeah, you guys are done. MCU customers, MCU1 customers still get like one update a year. Oh, she's vacuuming. Oh yeah? Okay, but I can't have music on my show. You want to say hi? You vacuuming? Yeah. It's going right now. More.
Help me, Daddy.
Help you what?
Help me. Help me, Help me, yeah.
You want to go to 9?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, it's on 9. Your hands are like sticky. You have a smell. You clean?
I need more juice.
You need more vacuum?
No, sir, I need more, sir.
Did you kill the battery already?
I need more.
Let me see. It's on. You gotta move it.
You think?
Yeah. No, you gotta touch it. Just move it. Yeah, it's on. There you go. We might need to put lubrication on those wheels so they're not turning. See how you're moving it? Is that turning? Wheels not spinning? What if you push down? Does the wheels turn? There you go.
In the birthday.
Okay, after the show, I'll get some lubrication and put it in on those wheels for you, okay? Hopefully I have a plastic compatible well, I might have something. We'll see. All right, so as I was saying, you can't get your hopes dashed if if you're not expecting too much. We've fallen into that trap in Tesla land before. Something awesome happens, and then we think that always there'll be something awesome. Versus if we just expect something. Hey, something happened. That's great. I like it. Or hey, something happened. I don't care for it. And it goes on. Well, this is going to be the greatest thing since sliced bread. You're going to love it, and you're going to be missing out on this and that and the other. And oh, this is none of those things. This is terrible. It's an awesome update. So he says it'll be big. We'll see. What I hope to see in there is this current version sucks in the dark, and by the dark I mean talking like the rural South, where there's like no street lights and nothing. Like it just thinks the cameras are dead, and really what it is that you've got no moon, no moonlight, no ambient light, so only what the headlights and taillights are able to illuminate, and then of course if you get the turn signals on, then it can see what's happened with the side markers. But this version is super cautious about low light. It really can't stand the glare. Yesterday, we merged in front of somebody to take an exit. So we were in the passing lane, and it was a 3 lane, so we did it over and over. But as it got to the middle lane, it moved over. It was going faster than the guy. That's fine. Next thing we know, it's slamming on the brakes with no obvious reason for doing so. So I interrupted that with the little bit of lightning pedal. Why is it not doing that? Because you have it off. So if you turn it on, it'll vacuum. Yeah, there you go. On. There you go. There you go. Uh, so it
No, God. You're not breaking.
so it looked to this guy like we were jerks coming in from the left lane, then brake checking him hard. Um, uh, so this is a case of phantom braking. is dangerous. It could get people hurt. One, getting run into. Two, we've seen that the U.S. is a little violent lately. Somebody gets shot doing stuff like that. Andrew says we bought a EVA Kia EV6 GT GT line 2022 for 514,900 SEK. 4650. Oh, 46 grand. Okay, and 39 cents. Cool. It only rolled 1,300 kilometers or 807 miles. Excellent. That is a good deal. It's a good car too. I like it. And then it repeated your chat for some reason. Why it did that, I don't know. It's the exact same chat. Maybe the internet connections aren't just in my own home, because it's like it reconnected to the chat. It's exactly all the messages are the same. That's cool. Okay, so let's. That's a really cool car. If you got a picture of it somewhere, I'd like to see like the color and stuff. I guess maybe on your X account. Let's see. Oh, so back to Ashok. So what I'm hoping to see is that more mitigation for phantom braking, because the X hasn't typically had that issue before. I don't know if it's because of the size or its age or the combo of what it's got in the hardware, but this would be probably like the 10th phantom brake since FSD came out. And it's really jittery at the steering wheel when it's at low speed maneuvers, like in parking lots. Or another thing it likes to do is pull into traffic while making going across the lanes, so making a left basically into traffic, or right if it's one-way street. Baby, can you keep the rattling noises down, please? The stunner isn't working right now. You can talk, but the banging, some people don't like it. Are you vacuuming in the air? Roar! Yes, so the low speed maneuvers, then crossing traffic. So either a one-way street going right across traffic, or a two-way street going left across traffic. Sometimes they'll just pause. Like, yeah, I got to have a think. I'm like, no, you're not going to have a think with oncoming traffic. Let's go. And either I'll nudge it with the accelerator, or I'll grab the wheel and turn it. That's I don't want to say it's the worst version we've ever had, because it's not really terrible. It's just got these weird quirks that came up. Another thing that really messes with it now is it's super sensitive to glares, either from the sun or maladjusted headlights, or jerks with their brights on. But that didn't used to be a problem, and they lock out lane changes a lot, very easily. At least they'll tell you why sometimes. Like, hey, I can't see out of the left camera, or I can't see out of the left fender camera. Like, I'm making a right turn. That camera doesn't even matter to this. That's on the freeway. Around town, it complains a lot less about visibility. It just kind of does its thing. So the current version is not the worst, but it's not one of the best as far as ease of use and everything like that. But it does work well, especially around the city. It makes the right maneuvers. It's pretty good about passing people and that sort of thing. It's just that sometimes it gets in its own way. So that would be nice to see them improve with 12.6. We don't even know if it's really 12.6 or if it's the just the next 12, since they've moved on to 13.2.1. We'll see what actually happens with getting the rest of us onto version 13, and if we get actually smart summon, and if that includes any sort of live video feed. Oh, Anders reposted this show. Thank you, Anders. The next thing I was looking for was thank you for your continued development for Harbor 3. I know many owners, I'm one of them. I really appreciate the continued focus. Here's the thing, though. We're the majority with Harbor 3. There's over 1 million of us. The new thing, you have to keep going forward, yes, but the new thing, they're the minority of the ownership. So to drop everybody now, you pick it up on Friday, so you send a picture after that. Awesome, Anders, that's a great idea. Congratulations. So he's going to pick it up on Friday. What was I at with that? They could, but would be foolish to try and drop us now. And they would also have themselves an accounting/legal problem for some of the folks who paid up front. I wouldn't be surprised to see that some of the terms have changed if you pay up front now, or if you did the transfer. Speaking of the transfer, we talked about the Model S with the lifetime free charging, right? I got an email direct from Tesla saying, hey, you want your lifetime free charging, transfer your FSD. I really did like that Model S, but it wouldn't make sense for me to get a Model S. So it was tempting. The cool thing about that is that the X, even though it would no longer have FSD after that, it would still have lifetime free charging because I'm not going to trade it or sell it. So I'd have 2 cars I could just road trip wherever, whenever, and that would be cool. But again, that little one, she likes to eat. So why are we having rice again? Because that's all we can afford. Somebody bought too many expensive cars. That and this one's paid off, so not in a rush to do anything. Like I said, I'd probably do the triangle after this, just because it does everything we got the X for, minus 2 seats, but plus a lot of towing capacity. The good thing on the delays for that one is it's allowing them to do their iterative process, so I can get all the bugs and such that are in there now that people know about won't be in mine, and I can either get all new ones or I can get a baked product. Not saying that it was not engineered or whatever, but it's just the way cars work. So it's the whole reason why when I was selling legacy cars, people would tell me, oh, I don't buy the current model year. So some folks would come in and get some manufacturers make what are called classics, or what did they call that? It wasn't. Sometimes it was called classic. Usually it's called something else, but it wasn't the new model. It was the last dregs of the last body style, last everything. They put all the options in it, and it was a nice car. It's just everybody else is getting something that looks completely different than what you got, because some folks do want the best version of that car that will ever exist. Not to say they won't introduce more problems, but all the existing ones are handled. Okay, so we'll wait and see. I'm not going to speculate too much. That is stuff I want to see. I want to see it get back to the level of comfort of use of the old one, and I would like to see the single stack like they have on 13, where the highway and city streets are all one thing, and we'll just see how it goes. I'm not getting my hopes up for anything, especially when they say, oh yeah, this is another version of the old thing. The other thing to remember here is that with FSD, sometimes the version numbers are a little bit arbitrary. Remember all the times Elon said, oh yeah, this is really version next. This should have been called version next. Like when we were on 9, this should have been 10. This should be 13, so on and so forth. So that 0.1 might hold more than we expect. But what I would like to see is just general comfort, ease of use, not twitching all over the place, not pausing to think with oncoming traffic coming at you broadside, and not just disconnecting itself. Like it doesn't do give up. It's busy jerking the wheel back and forth. It loses track of what it's up to and thinks that I turned the wheel, and it drops. So we can be in the middle of one of those turns. We can do parking lot. We can be any maneuver where it's turning, and it just gives up thinking that I took over when it was its own situation. And it sounds like a lot of complaining, but remember, I've done way too many hours with this, and so many miles that that they all get exposed a little bit more to me. And I'm one of them weird road warriors that I'll just drive all day, and so with these long trips we just had, half of them were at night, and so you really get to see stuff that happens when you're out of the city. In the times that if you had Tesla insurance, you'd be getting pinged for having driving at weird hours, 2, 3, 4 in the morning. They don't like that. But moving on, let's see what's next in the notebook. Once we have something substantive, we can talk about it. Until then, it'll be just like, hey, this is what I want to see. What if this is cool? Have we had a leak? What did we find out in the leak? I almost pasted the next article over you guys instead of over the viewer. That would have been a mistake. All right, we've got an X link. Early registration for Starlink direct-to-cell service with T-Mobile. So if you are a T-Mobile customer, there are 2 pages. If you are a T-Mobile business or government, I believe, there's 1 page. And if you are a T-Mobile just regular consumer retail customer, they've got another. So I went ahead and signed up for my appropriate page. I'm hoping this is free. Some folks are saying how much they'd be willing to pay for it. I'm thinking, why not be free? Because it means they don't have to build any towers, or at least not in these areas. But they like money, so I see how they might charge for it. But thankfully, T-Mobile doesn't seem as grubby as some of the other carriers as far as what they would charge for. So over here, you can experience coverage beyond with T-Mobile Starlink satellite service. The first and only U.S. provider, because they got the exclusivity for now. Connected in places never thought possible with the world's largest satellite to cell constellation service. Oh, you guys can see my mouse on this one. I forgot about that. That's cool. The beta is coming soon. Register for a limited number of openings for the beta test satellite-powered messaging. If you're a business customer, register here. I think this one here for the consumers might be for your whole plan, but for business, it is whatever lines you specify. So I had to put me and Gig in separately, and then I left the baby's phone without satellite because she doesn't use her phone because I haven't given it to her. She doesn't need a phone, but the line was free for life, so why not? I don't even know if kids will talk on the phone like that when she's of age, but again, it was free. Well, we partnered with Starlink to eliminate dead zones. I didn't actually read it. I just clicked it and signed up. So let's read it now. The 5G network experience. How does it work? Just look up. In areas without cell service, your T-Mobile phone connects to Starlink satellites. And I think we saw a little bit of this from Starlink themselves when they were explaining how the disaster relief service worked. Starlink direct-to-cell technology acts like a cell phone tower in space, integrating with T-Mobile's network almost anywhere you can see the sky. Coming soon, you'll be able to send and receive satellite-powered text messages with plans to pursue voice and data service next. I think that might require Starship and Starlink V3, 4, 2. The next version of the satellite birds, the big ones. I think we're on V2 minis right now, so they fit on Falcon 9. Let's see, all customers with a compatible device and postpaid T-Mobile service plans are eligible for the beta test. Limited spots available for the test. Developing technology available in most areas most of the time. Ultimately available in most outdoor areas where you can see the sky. And as we saw last week, 2 weeks ago, it does actually work indoors, but they're not guaranteeing that. One of the engineers on his X posted a picture of his living room floor and table where he does his development work and testing. So he doesn't actually go outside to do his basic testing, he said. But they are not guaranteeing that. All right, so you give me your name, email, phone number. Excuse me. And then you verify. Let's look at some of these questions. They look solid. What is it? Will everyone who registers get in? Hopefully, the answer is no. Not hopefully. I was saying hopefully the answer is yes, but limited number of spots. So I encourage everyone to sign up as soon as possible. I guess I should put the link in the chat for those of you that have T-Mobile. Hey, Robert, how you doing? Oh, it's not letting me click. But yeah, hi. Let's come over and click on something that's not the browser, and I should be able to click. Yeah, hello, Robert. And then Joel, good to see you, Joel. Merry holidays, Kacey. Driving from Boston to Arizona in our new Model Y. Congrats. Hopefully you've got some FSD to help out with, because that does take a load off you, even when it's not running at its 100%. But even better, since you've got a new one, you've got hardware 4, and everything I'm hearing about version 13 is wonderful. I mean, I'm hearing it's not perfect, but the little bits of complaints I'm hearing are like similar to how I complain about mine wiggling the steering wheel in a parking lot. But do definitely keep an eye on it, because I think Kyle said he managed to curb his. And I guess that's not really that much different than a lot of Tesla owners when you look at the the superchargers and you see the ground down wheel edge from folks curbing it. But that's an awesome trip. Do just go slow and enjoy it. And I'd like to hear how it went. It's gonna be awesome. Supercharger network has just made everything so much easier than it used to be, and it's awesome to see all the folks that are getting invited to it as well. We've came in across a lot of Fords, the Lightning, not so much, but a lot of Mach-E's. The Rivian R1S we see a lot more frequently than the R1T. We saw a Bolt once. That was weird. It's because the Bolt charge is so slow. The most unique one we've seen so far, other than just a single Lucid, just that rare, and with the boost converter, it makes sense. The oddest one that we saw was the Ford Transit EV, because Ford kind of specifically says this one doesn't do it, but yet the lady was there. She was charging her Ford Transit on her lunch break, and was, she was done before we were done, and on her way. I think what it is with the Ford Transit is the same thing that we're seeing with the work truck work editions of the Chevys, where it just doesn't work from their app. And so if you go to the Charge My Other non-Tesla section of the Tesla app and activate a supercharger, you're good to go. So I think that's what's happening with that Ford Transit. Also, some folks are saying that the Bright Drop is the same way, because it's only set up for the Chevy work app. So Robert says it's windy, and he's seen a lot of new EVs this week. It's good to hear. Very good to hear. Okay, so let's finish going through these questions. What do I need to do after signing up? The answer is probably nothing. Yep, not a thing. We'll provide regular updates on progress. Okay, how much will it cost? I hope the answer is free forever. Just pay your regular bill and we got you. I don't like that answer. I don't like that answer at all. It's free during the beta test, and we'll provide more details about the commercial service at launch. I can understand if you're on like the cut rate, what they used to call the Obama phone plan. I don't know the details of that plan. I do know it was a subsidized cell phone. I get that if you're not on a regular plan, they might want to charge you for the service. However, what I would like to see is they say, hey, we make enough money, and this thing will save us money for not having to put towers in Timbuktu. So we're going to do this for free. Or at the very least, include a certain amount of minutes and texts for everybody. Because as Elon was saying during the disaster, was that this is life-saving, and there's no reason why we should gatekeep a life-saving technology. So if it's not included, give people like 60 messages and an hour of talk. You might need more than an hour of talk. Maybe 3 hours of talk, so that people can call for emergency services.
I have one leg.
You have long legs? You do, actually.
I have one leg door. I can go. I can go.
Yeah, because this room is full of your stuff. We can't go.
I go your way.
You went my way?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The bar.
Yeah, don't touch the button.
The bar. Do ding ding.
Oh, yeah?
Hey, sorry. Not yet. Customer. Hi. Customer ding ding ding. I give my sandwich. Customer, I give my sandwich.
Your sandwich?
My favorite name.
5 minutes?
Yeah.
Oh, you're cooking a sandwich.
Hey, my chicken
I
sandwich.
can't remember the name. How you say that ham sandwich in French? Croque de monsieur?
Be $5.
$5?
Yeah.
That's an expensive lunch. Your mommy doesn't charge me for lunch. She just asks for ingredients. $5. Talk about inflation.
$5.
$5.
Yeah.
Oh, so you have teenagers working in the kitchen that you gotta pay?
Yeah.
Oh, you do.
And they pay
I said she's
salary.
gonna be a big boss.
And they pay Reagan.
You need to pay salary and Reagan.
And they pay Dinosaur and salary and $5.
$5.
Yeah. $5.
$5.
I tell the customer $5.
You told the customer $5?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I told you.
You did.
Yeah, I told Grandma.
You told Grandma?
I told Grandma.
Grandma doesn't eat for free?
Yeah.
Oh,
Grandma.
wow.
$5.
$5 for Grandma too. Okay, I'll let her know.
$5 from my son. Grandma boy, Daddy. Grandma boy.
Grandma gave you a book?
Yeah.
She did.
Grandma boy. Grandma boy.
Oh, your boots. Yeah, my grandma gave you boots. She got some nice looking boots. Well, she gave her some Christmas shopping money, and she picked out some boots, really beautiful boots, and a couple of books, and a nice little ensemble of outfits, and one toy. Yeah, you got one. No, she got 2 toys. And then I got her something really cool from my childhood.
$5.
Yes.
$5.
Turn it down a bit.
$5.
Yes, $5. There you go.
Hey, $5. No, it's $5 salary.
Okay.
$5 salary. No.
Oh.
Salary.
Oh, you don't want imaginary money?
Salary. No, so much money.
It's too much money. Oh, I gave her too much money. Oh, can I have some change then?
No.
No, I can't have change either. Okay.
Hey, I can see him.
You can't see because you're on the floor. Wait, there you are. You're in the corner of my screen.
I can see.
I see you right here.
I can see.
You gotta get taller.
I can see Mama.
Well, Grandma's not on there. Well, she might actually be watching, but I don't think she is.
I can see.
You can't see. I see you.
I can
Right down there in the corner.
I can see.
I didn't know I could see you all the way down there.
Papa.
Grandpa's not on here for sure.
And River protection.
Huh?
I can see you.
You can't see. Where'd you go? Ah, she appears. What a cool magic trick.
Mommy.
Mommy's way out of the view of the camera. That's kind of cool. You touch her and she shows up.
Mm.
Good magic trick. Oh, boink.
Beep, 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 beep.
Well, I think I gotta do it because if you disappear, then it doesn't know you're still there.
Yeah.
No. Yep. What?
I see.
Bling.
Ring, 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 ring.
Boop, boop.
Boop, 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 boop.
All right. Well, don't crash your scooter in my computer. Computers don't like being bumped.
Beep, beep, boom.
Yeah, they don't like boom boom.
Beep, beep. Beep, beep, beep. I don't want to touch me.
You don't want what?
I don't want to touch me.
Well, if you charge customers $5, you gotta provide your service or give them their money back.
No.
No.
No. Daddy, no, pay. Sorry.
There you are. I pay a sandwich.
Let's go.
Down. Okay. Down. Down. Down.
This side.
That is the audio interface. So when I talk, it goes into this microphone and it gives it boosts with power, and then it brings it down to this cable, and then it thinks about it and then sends it down to the computer so they can hear us.
It's my dog.
Yeah, you said down and then you said ask those questions. Here you go. Have a safe trip.
Huh?
On your scooter, have a safe trip.
Guess what, buddy? I'll be young.
All of our robots should be inactive right now.
Huh?
You said something about the robot. All of our robots should be asleep.
Robot, this is my robot.
Oh, this is your robot? It looks like a scooter, but okay.
It's my robot car.
Excuse me, your robot
It's
car?
raining.
It's not raining, and your robot car's parked outside charging.
My car gay.
Your car's what?
My car gay. My robot car gay. It's gay.
Dang.
Robot gay. And it says robot. And it says robot.
You need to search the robot.
Yeah.
Okay. We're talking about the Tesla. She knows it's a robot. All right. But everything in her life is a robot, and everything scares her. So, as I was saying, there should be a bucket of emergency use on there, even if they decide they do want to charge for this. And if you're on the regular plans, they should be included. Can I get satellite service in other countries during the beta? Well, that's unfortunate. No, at the time. Because, like Google, T-Mobile allows global roaming to an extent. And this would be much cheaper for them to allow that. But I guess during the beta test, that makes sense. The services will be available only in the US where the T-Mobile has spec. That's why right there, because they are using basically a global cell tower. So they aren't. Other people can probably use that spectrum in other parts of the world. But I wonder if they could do it like as roaming, but not in such a way that they have to pay as much as they do for roaming over people's infrastructure. Over time, we plan to work with global roaming providers and SpaceX to provide reciprocal satellite service in other countries and global waters. That'll be sharp. That will be worth paying extra for. But simply as a supplement to their terrestrial coverage in their countries, that should be free. Not free, but no extra charge. Who can register? Anyone can register to participate. We'll initially start with a smaller number of postpaid customers who have optimized phones to ensure we deliver a great experience. I wonder what optimized means. Do you have to buy your phone from them? Because I don't. I get the unlocked version, and they say stuff like, "You're eligible for an upgrade now." Will all phones work in time? Is expected to work with most modern phones. During the beta, to ensure great customer experience, we are optimizing the experience on select smartphones. We'll expand the tests to more customers and phones as more satellites launch. We'll provide more details on optimized phones when we open the beta in 2025. Hopefully that's the latest from Apple, Samsung, and Google. Because that will cover the most people right there. Maybe Motorola. Anticipate to begin in early 25. Where will coverage be available? Almost everywhere in the US, where traditional towers cannot provide coverage. During the beta, performance may vary depending on several factors like location, number of people using the service simultaneously. Our partner SpaceX is launching satellites at a historic pace. It should be an historic pace. Sorry, you're a multi-billion-dollar company. An historic pace. I think a historic works, but it's not the preferred. And each new launch will make the service better. And when we launch it commercially, we will get a lot of good feedback from customers in the beta, and that will tell us when we're ready to launch. We expect to be in sometime 25. So that'll be kind of cool. We beta test it in like January, February, March. Go live in like September. That'll be awesome. Especially because you won't need to have the satellite chips in your phone, which should be cheaper than what Apple and some of the others have done. All right, so we got that far. Thankfully, I don't have a whole lot of articles. Here is a video, I think. Mark Rober. All right, come on.
Race. I'm here in Seattle, Washington, because this is ground zero for the new space race. I'm talking about direct-to-cell technology. In other words, making calls to freaking space. T-Mobile Starlink is going to be a game changer for those going off the beaten path. And that beaten path is more than 500,000 square miles of the US with no on-the-ground cell coverage because of topography or other factors. So what is this going to mean if you're a T-Mobile customer?
We're hoping to improve the customer experience and connect you with friends and family anywhere you are in the States.
Even on a lake in the middle of nowhere in Washington?
Absolutely.
All right. Hey, Dad, I'm sending you this message from space.
Friggin' space!
I hit send, now what?
He'll text you back.
Oh, there's a response. Cool, I've received it. How's space? That was amazing, but kind of underwhelming. It just feels like I sent a text message.
Yeah, that's kind of the point.
Yeah, that's fun.
To be one of the first to experience the T-Mobile Starlink beta, go to T-Mobile.com/satellite or use the link in the video description.
What's kind of funny is he sent something like that to his dad. He could actually be in space, as a former NASA engineer. That would be kind of a cool response. Hey, Dad, I'm in space, or from space. And then he says, no, I'm in space. They think they have a partnership with this. They've got a phone in space right now, or on the way. They did a ride share, and it's taking selfies in space, and its orbit will decay and everything, but they will allow you to get a selfie, or a selfie with a selfie from a satellite in space. The selfie within selfie, you'll have to. I think they did a sun synchronous orbit, but for that to work, they'll tell you where and when to be, based on where you tell them you are, and then you can be literally in the photo, which is kind of cool. And they've hidden some answers. I'm curious how bad the replies will be to this. Hey, it's Mark. I've lost this thing again. There we go. I'm not following Mark over. Now I am. All right, so I can already do that with Starlink Mini and a premium VoIP text call app. Yeah. But now without the extra device and Starlink's subscription, though. Or if on a metered plan, you can save the bits. So you're saying I can text Domino's from space? Yeah, actually. Yeah. Although that wasn't a reply to me. Okay. I thought that the uplink was my reply, but Whiff is Evil was the reply. All right, so let's see Tam win. His dad really needs a CT. Really need one. CT, like a Cybertruck? Wonder how much it's going to be extra. That's a great question, because T-Mobile Help says, great question. It will be included with your T-Mobile service. Check this out for more details. There we go. Breaking news. Vodafone and Deutsche Telekom, please reconsider this. So I'm going to another link that they've shared here. I'll share this tab instead so you guys can see it. January 2024 was the original one. We've talked about this one already, so let's go back to where we were. Share this tab instead. Close that. Excellent. This is good for both of us. As you won't need towers in the middle of nowhere. Plus the support equipment. If you do start charging for it, say on budget plans, please always include some bucket for emergencies. This could be life-saving. Oh, interesting. It doesn't show you my little grammar checker. And it does show the mouse hovering over all of it, though. Interesting. No, it was a request. I'm not gonna. This is a terrible rephrase. They're saying if you start charging for it, comma, say on budget plans, that you should always include some bucket for emergencies. This could be like saying, no, my way was better. So, reply. Thank you for registering. We'll let you know when mobile Starlink is available. Don't use T-Mobile, loyal customer for many years. Had to change service to get a new phone since T-Mobile didn't want to do anything for me. Apparently changed the day after my billing cycle, and they want to charge me a full month for 1 day. That's all of these communications companies. T-Mobile buying out US Cellular. Will US Cellular customers be able to sign up for the beta at some point as well? I'm a current Starlink customer and would love to participate. See, that would be interesting right there if there was a more you could do with it if you were a dual customer. I suspect that might be coming. Joel says waiting on V for 13, but haven't. Drove fairly well in the snow, and I'll send along a report. That's going to be awesome. Did a Denver trip in 2018, 5,000 miles round trip. Thank God for iPads for kids. Yes. So on ours, we thankfully the YouTube Kids app like caches a whole mess of the stuff they like, and we basically have a rule is once she gets in the car after her nap, she can use it, but she doesn't always. If it's a short trip, it's not allowed, and if it's a longer trip, we tend to always get in the car near a nap time, so we don't even pull it out until after she's woke up from the nap. Our trips are hellaciously long, like the 40 hours last weekend. Not usually that long, but usually about 6 to 10 hours. We be rolling. And after 27 years hitting the same stupid dead spots, driving the same stretches of interstate, it's time we enter a new century. Yes. That's what I want, my text in space. Who needs them to go to the recipient anyway? You send them to space, and then space sends them back to the ground. That's how it works. Let's see. If the other carriers are going to continue to leave those dead spots, I'm going to move on Starlink and T-Mobile. There you go. Finally, something good from T-Mobile because my other service is bad. They are still at number 4, number 3. They just don't have the resources as the others, but this gives them an advantage in other ways. I drive a tow truck up the mountains in Washington where the service is limited. This is going to be great for communication with my coworkers. Absolutely. You can get it for your truck. All right, let's go on to, let's see if this is still, it is, okay. And what is in this window? Why is it still open? Okay, I see why. It feels appropriate to acknowledge and thank the incredible team at Tesla for working on their fleet APIs and developer relations. This is coming from Tesla Scope. We've been talking about their radical pricing on the fleet API, or not just the fleet API, all the APIs that they offer. This month, I've had the privilege to speak with their team, expressing their own feedback and expressing our own feedback and concerns, in addition to other developer voices. Tesla has willingly taken the time to listen to my feedback regarding the rollout of their fleet APIs. Largely based on this feedback, dozens of changes are coming, with many bettering the experiences for not only developers, but for hundreds of thousands of vehicle owners. While I can't share everything just yet, Tesla has already published new ways to improve the experiences for vehicle owners by making it easier to add or revoke OAuth permissions or scopes, and are better rate limiting for authentication requests. And much more is coming soon. Fire emoji. Discussions continue, and I am grateful for over a dozen developers, companies that have shared their direct feedback, roadblocks, challenges, so that we could provide a clear, concise vision for stronger developer ecosystem. Throughout the following weeks and months, you can expect for the majority of third-party apps to make changes to comply with the new pricing and other technical requirements. I ask for your patience and kindness, especially with the smaller teams that may be under stress. So we're talking about Tesla Scope, Tesla Fi, Ben's thing, and several others. They are going to get rocked by this. As for us, we've already published our discussion regarding the upcoming changes to our subscription and new features which can be found below. Each third party may have similar communications or reach out if you have questions or concerns. All right, so we will read that. I've read it. It wasn't too disheartening. Great to see they listen. It's the least they can do now with awesome dev like you. He says communications are paramount. I just got a link from the Tesla Life that we will be looking at. It's the best gift we have as humans. Yes, they deserve your praise for backstabbing their over 3 fleet. Did you investigate if they're hiding under the mask of technical computing numbers and purposely stopped developing FSD for Hardware 3 and moved on to Hardware 4, forcing customers to buy new cars? Pure fraud. So I have accused them of holding back minor stuff to try and strong them into getting new cars, but I do not think that the majority of the stuff they're holding back is actually the tactic. I think it literally cannot be done on the cars, or cannot be done on the cars with the hardware they have the way they designed it, because clearly they are optimizations they could make to both the OS and FSD to be more universal between MCU 1, 2, 2.5, and the new MCUs with the Ryzen versus, for example, I don't know if we included it this week or not, but the weather radar approaching your destination we talked about on the Ryzen cars, that's now been moved back to Intel cars. Nobody's seen it yet, so we're assuming that's only going to be on the Model 3, Model Y. But as we saw with the holiday update, that might include us on Legacy. We'll see. Because we have the same chips, but our screen is rotated differently. So, oh man, you gotta make your app rotate. But if you have a responsive design and it doesn't use too many resources, that could be basically free. So Tesla Scope very diplomatically handled this. Points out that these are very different teams, and I can assure you they are working incredibly hard to get updates to Hardware 3 vehicles. We have a 2018 Model 3 performance with Hardware 3 ourselves, and I'm very excited for any upcoming features. Just a bit more patience. And David here says, some real communications on the Hardware 3 timeline. They probably don't know, because if you look at how they told us for the October updates, they were pretty detailed. So here's probably a case of they don't they don't know, and rather than Elon's 2 weeks, regardless of the actual timeline, they want to give us something useful and actionable. So we're working on it. Hopefully by the end of the year is very detailed. Not as detailed as we would like, but it's better than standing up there and saying freaking 2 weeks. Like the Total Recall. 2 weeks. There's definitely clearer communication needed. Do you think Tesla will address it soon? They did. We covered the tweet. I don't know if that tweet was before or after this one, though. The one thing I don't get is the streaming cost. Should be per stream with a low, mid, high payload, if that even matters. Yeah, I agree. It makes sense that each stream field over time is like tossing a waterfall of pennies to Tesla. So if you ask Tesla for certain information like what's the battery charge and how fast is the car going, those are two separate streams. And you're going to want more than just the battery charge and the speed. So that adds up over time. Have you discovered a method to modify the schedule or trigger the start charging button? I haven't been able to find any endpoints in this for this purpose. This is for non-Tesla vehicles and wall connectors. So the connected wall connector. What's the best way to reach out to the API team for feedback? He didn't get an answer, but yeah. All right, so let's go on to what he was talking about with his changes to the service. Oops, I did the thing. I should have hit the button and I didn't. Share. Come on, share. Click on the notes, click on share. Yep. We're going to share screen. Tesla Scope on X. So for Tesla Scope in specific, Tesla Fi, I know it's got something coming. I haven't noticed anything from them yet. Later this month, we'll begin transitioning to Tesla's fleet telemetry and changing our subscription offerings to ensure continued sustainability. These changes may impact you. They also impact me. These changes may, so take a moment to read through this thread. We appreciate it. It's not very long. We've always prided ourselves in being the most affordable third-party service, and they are pretty darn affordable. Historically, offering the features regardless of the number of vehicles you own, which was something I liked, seeing the loaners pop in and out of my account. However, Tesla's new API pricing requires us to increase our subscription costs to cover each vehicle's API usage. As such, we're switching to a per vehicle pricing model, increasing our starting cost from $3 to $3.99 per vehicle per month. So 99 cents a month. It's not terrible. Not compared to what some of the folks are telling us they're going to change to. Oof. Or what everybody else saw that with no changes, what Tesla would do to them. More than doubling the price for everybody. Tesla Life is busy tweeting away. There was one that I wanted to focus on because I saw it come across. It was interesting. So for 80% of the members, this will only result in a monthly increased cost of 99 cents, the first time we've increased costs since we launched in 2019. Or $39.99 annually for 17% savings. 2 months free, right? So please note, existing subscriptions will automatically be switched to the new pricing model between December 20th and December 31st. So coming right along. Subscription discounts are carried over, so research participants, first responders, veterans, and educators will immediately see reduced costs. We acknowledge that these price increases may be more substantial for accounts with multiple vehicles. You'll only be billed for vehicles with polling enabled, and if needed, you can unsubscribe and continue accessing your vehicle data without any risk of data deletion. Some of the services, once you stop paying, they stop storing. This month, several portions of our platform will undergo significant redesign. Vehicle management simplified, multiple Tesla accounts will be supported. Your feedback throughout this process is valuable. Please remember, we're always just a quick DM or email away. I've only ever really interacted with him on Twitter, either as Tesla Scope or as Tyler. I may have had an email or two, but Twitter X Zitter is easier for me. P.S. Our free tier is not going anywhere. You'll still be able to connect your vehicles and contribute software update metrics for the global community. We also have many features for everyone to benefit from, whether subscribed or not. Great overview of the changes. It's coming from Tesla app updates. They're the ones who break down the iOS updates and inform us. I highly recommend everyone use Teslascope. It provides a lot of great data mixed with a great user interface. Thanks for the update. I'll be keeping both my cars on Teslascope. Mine will be fun because it's legacy, but I plan to keep it there as well. Will there be changes to authentication or URLs for the API? Teslascope just landed support just landed in OpenHAB 4.3. That's cool. Proper OAuth authentication with scopes is coming soon, in addition to personal access tokens. A third-party app is requesting permission to access your account. The application will be able to see and access. Oh, that's cool. They've done this already for them to Tesla. So I guess it's a matter of just extending that to work with other apps to them. Okay. Awesome. Spell. Just shared on the stream. And I've got a code for you guys. Let me get you guys a code. I don't know what you get with the code anymore, so I'm going to check. Big changes on the horizon for the future. Click here to see more. Does it take me to X? I think it would just be on their website. Yeah, it's on their website. I should have clicked on that. It's loading slower than I thought. All right, let's open a new tab. Let's duplicate the tab. And get you guys your code. Sign in. Yep, that's the code. Okay, and then I want to. I think it's just my profile page. Okay, so if I want to share my vehicle URL or have you guys sign up directly, all right, so let's just do the referral. So first is this one is my referral. I'll refer vehicle owners to receive credits towards your premium membership or trial, which also extends your trial rather than what it comes with. It comes with more trial. And then this one is my public profile for my car, which we'll look at in a minute. I get a nifty badge. Receive a promo code from a giveaway or special occasion. Provide a valid code below to receive premium credit. So even if you're already a member, they give you stuff that you can deal with from time to time. So let me try to go to that last link first before because I'm already signed in. It might not do what I expect it to do. Oh yeah. Yeah, it just logged me in. So let me try in another browser real quick. And let's go into incognito mode. See what it looks like. Poor little DNS server, the remaining one is like, what's going on here? Okay, so it has my shared drives, which I haven't shared any. Same for charting sessions. You get my statistics. I've got 7,302 drives logged with them for 165 days and 21 hours of driving. Good gracious. I live on the road. They've logged 99,282.43 miles with me. They've logged 3,223 charges with me with 656 sessions. So plugins, and I guess at home, since it does maintenance charges, those add up for a total of 47,439 kilowatt hours, or 47.63 megawatt hours. They don't know when it was delivered. I don't know how, because I told them. I'll see if there's a field where I can fix that, or maybe it's because my vehicle is not a new stream. It doesn't do that. Then we've got, it says I've got full self-driving, but because mine is not, it's legacy, it doesn't have any of that details that came with it. It's got my VIN number, that I'm on free supercharging, and I planted 1917 trees. I'm on number 138 for total distance, unknown for longest drives, unranked for safety scores because I'm no longer part of the safety score system. And autopilot miles is unranked again because my car is old. Why are my longest drives unknown? All right, I'll fix that. Hasn't shared any drives yet. Haven't shared any charging sessions yet. So how do they have a longest drive? And I don't. I'll look into that. I don't know if I want to, if I share it, I don't want it to be doxing myself a little bit. But I noticed that all of these are like Model 3s. So maybe, is there a filter on it? I don't see a filter on it. Okay, so let's close that. What is this? Close that. Come back over here. Nope, here. And back to you guys. And we'll go ahead and drop the referral link in the in the post because why not? Copy. And go back to Twitter. There we go. And this one we were talking about already. Paste and go. And then I need to close some stuff. Oh, actually, before we move on, share this tab instead. So this is the post on TeslaScope's website. Excuse me. They are going in and telling us more about what happened here. If you want some details, for example, it's 0.002 cents per request, 0.0001 cents per signal or data point, and vehicle commands are 0.001 cents each. So lock the doors, unlock the doors, remote start. Excuse me. Flash the lights, turn on and off sentry mode. They talk about the impacts of TeslaScope. They show us what's coming into the subscription changes to the 99 cents we were talking about. But there's more. This is the first price increase in over 5 years. Existing subscriptions will automatically switch on their next renewal date. We will work with you directly to credit your account for annual subscriptions and or process prorated refunds upon request. 2 subscription tiers are planned, both Plus and Pro. These tiers are in alignment with Tesla's usage-based API costs. You've got Plus and Pro available soon, $39 and $59 per year. Driving and monthly charging, you get 60 hours or 120 hours. Vehicle command controls monthly, 50 actions or 300 actions. Software update and tracking, because that's part of the free package, really. Track your software and navigation updates. Cost calculations. I guess that's because that's actually a function of the website rather than of the API. Location detection, automatically detect frequently visited locations in there and view their sessions all in one place. That would be part of the service. Reminders, set vehicle reminders regarding maintenance or anything, and receive email notifications as the deadline approaches. My favorite for them is, hey, you've been parked and a window's been left down. The car does that too sometimes, but not always. Data importing, up to 12 months or all of it in the case of Pro. Custom vehicle URLs are included. Alerts are not included on Plus. Same for automations, supercharger costs and invoices, or driver management, guest mode, or auto detect vehicles. These are more for fleets, most of them, but not all of them. Hide ads, they have a new ad platform called Tesla Ads, and it's designed to get rid of some of the problems with some of these ad networks. You can multiple Tesla accounts, you can do groups, get early access, exclusive badge, developer API, and then with Pro you get the Fleet API. Some new features, what's next, enclosure, and about Tesla ads. All right, so I'm going to go to x.com before we go into what we're going to share next, because I need. These two are less than $400 apart from each other. Which would you choose? The Volkswagen ID van, ID Buzz, or the Kia EV9? I would take the Kia EV9 in a heartbeat. I like the look of the Volkswagen, but after 27 years of them promising this thing, it is not anything close to what they hyped. The Kia, hands down. Tesla deploys multiple mega packs to help with the holiday supercharger volume. What you got here, Mark? Okay, so they've changed the design of the mobile supercharger platform a little bit. It looks like they did the palletized construction on like a construction, like a crane hauler trailer. So on the gooseneck part, you've got two supercharger cabinets, two supercharger V3s, and then on the tail section, it looks like you've got another supercharger V3 or power conditioning equipment. And then you've got your superchargers pedestals all around it, like little piglets in the mother. There we go, a better view. So two supercharger cabinets, solar. I wonder if solar is just like to run the data connection and stuff. This one's in a bag. We saw this on the palletized superchargers, where they basically are just doing this to line up with the parking situation. They'd have more chargers than they actually have capacity. And there's more on the other side, yeah. And there's the conditioning equipment, another solar panel, a little rigid box, probably where all the brains are kept. And then there's a big old mega pack right there on the side. That's pretty cool. It did not click. So I wonder if this is the current mega pack, like the mega pack XL, or if this is the old original mega pack. Not that it makes a huge difference, but it's idle curiosity on my part. There's another angle. Oh, they got two of them back to back. Smart. It also looks like the Supercharger V3 cabinets might be a little bit heavy for that platform. Or that one suffers some damage or something. Interesting. Okay. I recently my loyalty lasts for Windows. It's all loading. That's working for people. Got a referral from Source Post too. Super grateful. But that's not why I was here. I only opened up X that it would open in the correct window, and we were going to look at some of the things that Mark had posted that I don't see now. There we go. So that one we just saw about the mega packs. This was the one that they got me. Beyond thankful that she was safe, notable without any injuries. Tesla's FSD supervised rolls out to AI4 with holiday updates. So basically what we discussed, but now it's actually happening. Megapacks picked for solar project in Chile. Congrats. Saw some more interesting, they might actually not actually be interesting, but they looked interesting on the notification. Let's look at them real quick before we continue on. Ryan says, my mom was in a crash with her Tesla Model Y. Right after the crash, she called me and said, and could not believe she was in a crash. She really didn't feel anything other than the loud noise of the airbags deploying. Huge shout out to our engineering and safety teams for building the safest cars. Ryan's part of business generation and digital signage at Tesla. Opinions from my own. Proud to announce that she took delivery of a brand new Model Y last night. Her latest response was that she cannot believe how much better the ride quality has become, and the interior is so much quieter versus her 2020 Model Y. Now she's learning how to use FSD much more. Congrats, Ryan's mom, and glad she's safe. Yep, glad she's safe. Beyond thankful she was safe, and notably without any injuries. We were sideswiped with another vehicle going at least 50 miles per hour in November, and didn't realize it had happened besides the loud noise. Our vehicle remained in place with no injuries. Family members belonging to Teslas, yeah. And then you guys know about my story where I was repeatedly rear-ended by a semi-truck on the highway. I don't want to say no injuries because that's not true, but the outcome was way better than it would have been in our Chevy Volt. Much smaller car. I'm glad she's okay. Cars are replaceable and people are not. Absolutely. What else did I see on here while I was looking for you guys? That got distracted me. Yeah, the mobile mega packs we talked about. Interesting. What's this for telescope? It's actually how it gets generated. I personally love that way more than seeing nothing until the images are fully generated. I guess it's back 25 years ago, but this time, instead of downloading images, it's generating them. I was talking about progressive load on these AI images, I guess. Well, the most annoying graphic experience, watching it slowly reveal the image top down. Just show the image as it's made raw. That's exactly what it's doing. Y4 images, it's not as slow as downloading an actual pic 30 years ago. As opposed to one options, what do you prefer? How about generating one at the beginning of the other three in parallel if these are selected to generate more options? That would be interesting. One generation would be ideally speedier than 4 in parallel. Maybe. It depends on how it's programmed. And the hardware, how it works on the hardware. One generation should ideally be speedier than the 4 in parallel, in theory, thus providing actionable results sooner, plus possibly all that's needed, A/B tested. I'm with Maddie. Mobile supercharging. This next one, it might be breaking news. I don't know. Christina is not easily excited like that. Here we go. Everything's jumping. This one from Carscoop also caught my eye. I don't know what we're looking at here either. LAMO, Carscoop just put this article out. Tesla and Stellantis overtake Ford as 2024's most recalled brands. I've got something about recalls later in the show. Stellantis and Tesla both overtook Ford to become the brands most responsible for the most recalls. Tesla topped out, issuing 15 recalls affecting 5.1 million EVs, although some were simple OTA fixes. So even before you get to the article, they tell you the headline was bunk. Ford had topped the lists for the previous 3 years and was on target to make it 4 in summer of 2024. We'll talk about recalls later in the show. There's been progress, thankfully. I dug into the data. Fiat Chrysler was the most recalled automaker in the US in 2024, while Tesla was one of the least. He's talking about real recalls. So Tesla's over-the-air software update recalls in the US affected 5 million vehicles. Many vehicles received multiple OTA recalls, so they are, I'm assuming, counted only once. They didn't post on X. If they do post it, you can expect quite a backlash. Yeah, it was clickbait. They did it on purpose. So they are counted more than once. Oh, okay. So yeah, that makes sense. In contrast, Tesla's physical recalls, requiring a visit to the service center, affected only 39,311 vehicles. A lot of them are Cybertrucks. Just because they had to put the rivet in them, they had to do this and do that. Accounting for just 0.77 of the total. That's 0.77% of the total. Total recalls, including physical and software update recalls for each: Fiat 72, Ford 62, BMW 36, GM 33, Mercedes 27, Hyundai 25, Jaguar Land Rover at 20, Kia at 19, Honda at 18, VW at 18. We've got some news about Honda. VW at 18, Nissan at 17. News about Nissan as well. Tesla 15, Mazda at 8, Rivian with 6. They've only got 2 cars, so that makes sense. Oh, like it's 4 cars. They've got 4 cars, so that makes sense. You've got the R1S and the R1T, and then 3 cars, really. The R1S, the R1T, and the Rivian delivery van. And then you've got the Gen 2 R1S and R1T. There may be a Gen 2 van. I don't know. They didn't mention it. Lucid 5, Volvo 4. Although, with 3 models, if they both had, or if they all had a second gen, then that would be exactly it right there. Kind of interesting. Anyway, number of physical recalls each automaker had that required customers to visit a service center. I need a longer window for this one. Fiat 72, so all of them. Ford 62, all of them. BMW, all of them at 36. GM, all 33 of them. Mercedes, all 27. Hyundai, one of them was a software update recall. The other 24, you had to go to the dealer. Jaguar Land Rover, all of the 20 recalls required you to bring it in. Kia, all 19 required you to bring the vehicle in for the recall. Honda, all 18 required you to come in. Volkswagen, all 18 you had to come in. Toyota, all 16 you had to bring it in. Nissan had a software update recall, so only 16 required you to bring it into the dealership. And Mazda, all 8 you had to bring it in. Rivian, 6. So four of the Rivians were bringing it into the dealers. So the other 2 were they don't have dealers at Rivian. 4 of them were bring it in or just mobile service tech physical recalls, and 2 of them were software update recalls. Lucid had 5 total, of which 3 were software update recalls. So 2 required a service visit of some sort. Volvo, all 4 of them were physical recalls. So the number of software update recalls for each automaker: Tesla 8, Lucid 3, Hyundai 1, Rivian 1, Nissan 1, and everybody else doesn't care about your time. Or the problems were in hardware, or they're incompetent with software. And by incompetent with software, I'm including that they didn't push their suppliers to allow over-the-air software updates. That is an incompetence in today's field. So of the 401 recalls, including both physical and software updates, only 14 were remedied with over-the-air software updates. Tesla accounted for 57% of all OTA recalls. I guess we might as well get into recalls next. I don't like jumping around in my notes. The mainstream media has done an excellent job of convincing people that Teslas break all the time or need fixing, but that couldn't be further from the truth. The data above shows that not only does Tesla rank near the bottom on total recall count, but 99.23% of the Teslas that are recalled in the US were fixed. He puts in quotes. They were fixed with a simple software, over-the-air software update performed in the comfort of the owner's homes or garages. No service center visit required. Tesla makes the safest cars on the road, top safety pick by IAHS. Their active safety features are great in preventing crashes. But if the worst happens, they have incredible passive safety engineering too. Absolutely. And let's see, we've got some comments I've been missing. Robert says it was my Eufy alarm. That is right. That is the Eufy voice. And why does it have a microphone? Why was it answering me? Interesting. And thank you. Thank you very much. That was the Eufy voice. It came from around the sound panel, so it really threw me in locating it with the headphones and the microphone thing going on. Do you see the van charging by the house? Send the picture. I probably haven't looked yet because we've been on the road. Oh, we've been on the road for like 80 hours this month or more. Did you hear about TV apps being moved here? People through the TV in streets saw one on my live stream. They were trying to make people buy new TVs. Huh. So they're doing TV ads on the stream? That's interesting. If I'm understanding correctly. I told people don't throw away a TV, just get an Android box. Yes, exactly. As long as the picture is good and the resolution is what you want, it's a lot easier to get like the new Android TV or an Apple TV or an NVIDIA Shield or something like my dad's little mini computer here. You can just roll it your own. This is a really old one, but the modern ones are not too expensive. I just got my uncle to get 3 of these, and we're going to do a server cluster for the inn. And depending on what his lawyer says, we might have some cool features for the guests to utilize even more of the functionality with that, which will be fun. Okay, so that was Sawyer's bit on the recalls. Give that a little heart. The total number of potentially affected vehicles in the U.S. that were told to visit a service center due to a recall. Okay, we'll continue. Also considering that those recalls listed 2.2 million Tesla vehicles impacted to front size. The font size of the screen being 1 millimeter too small. This was a real recall we had to deal with the Tesla owners. Okay, so let's open this up. All right, so for the total number of vehicles had to come in, Fiat, Chrysler, etc. 4.8 million. Ford, 4.3 million. These are physical recalls. Bring your vehicle in. Honda, 3.7 million. GM, 1.8 million. BMW, 1.8 million. Toyota, 1.2 million. Kia, 1.2 million. Hyundai, 1 million and change. So 1.1 million, let's round it up. VW, also 1.1 million after rounding up. Mercedes, 500,000 vehicles, 409,000. Mazda, a bit over 250,000 vehicles at almost 300,000, 297,941. Nissan, let's call it 150,000 vehicles. No, that's too much to round up. 141,728. So let's call it 142,000 vehicles. Jaguar Land Rover, 111,000 vehicles. Tesla, 39,000 vehicles. Volvo, round up to 18,000 vehicles. Rivian, 4,090. And Lucid with just 1,500 vehicles to bring in. I'm not sure how significant that is for Lucid because, one, as we said, they had software updates, but two, they're not quite yet a volume manufacturer. They're luxury cars right now. It'd be interesting to see that percent of vehicles in the field subject to recalls. That would be cool. And that would be hard, as I don't think any legacy automaker shares the total of their current fleet. I was really hoping that next one would be that data, which would have been awesome, but I don't think they share it either. These numbers reflect the actual recall stats. Yep, MSM at their best again. Okay, so I saw some more notifications. Let's see what they were. This one's from Drive Tesla Canada. Supercharger network is getting hit pretty hard with holiday travel and cold weather across Canada. So what they're showing here are all the stations that have wait times. I am loving the update that shows how many and which stalls are broken when you get there. So as you get in the vicinity, you get into the geofence and the supercharger. It's like, all right, don't go to 3A and 3B, or 4D and 4C, as the cases were that I visited this weekend. Wow. Yeah, so if you can, when you want to travel, use the destination features, even if the destination is a supercharger. That way the car can preheat and thaw out the battery a little bit. Also try to keep 50% in there, so that way you can warm it up by driving rather than trying to warm up the battery going straight to a supercharger. Okay, and let's go back to, like I said, we were talking about recalls. So we had so the next article was from Drive Tesla, and it was just about the free lifetime supercharging. I say let's go there anyway. I think I've already got it open. I do. There was the reason I shared that was there was actually some details in it versus what we already looked at. So let's scroll down to recalls in the notebook. Well, that's interesting. Recall before sale. That's part of our regular recall segment, but what about... Here it is. So this one, I have marked that they used my term, finally. We're going to share this tab instead, since it's still on the topic we were discussing of recalls. This is over at Teslarati. NHTSA finally acknowledges that Tesla will fix recalls with software updates. Jody says that the NHTSA is finally acknowledging that some recalls will be fixed with OTAs and not physical visits to the service center. This hotly contested issue that many people have raised. Tesla fans mostly, who have had issues with their vehicles, fixed with a simple download. This morning, Tesla initiated a recall of 694,304 vehicles across most of its lineup to help fix an issue with non-illuminated tire pressure monitoring system. It'll be fixed with an OTA. NHTSA now notes below the recalls will be fixed with a convenient method that are resolved with software updates. So previously, this was in the text. They'd say, blah, 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 this is going to be fixed with a software update, etc., etc. But now, look where it is. It's right underneath the title. December 17th, 2024, campaign number 24, Victor 9350000. TPMS light may not remain illuminated. FMVSS 138. That's the requirement. For the Federal Motor Vehicle Safety Standards, number 138, that the TPMS light has to stay illuminated while the tire pressures are low. So driving with improperly inflated tires increases the risk of a crash. And they're a safety organization, so that's all they're concerned with. However, underinflated tires will increase your fuel consumption as well. So in a combustion vehicle, that's especially bad. And in an electric vehicle, it's going to reduce your range and waste your electricity. So if you pay for your electricity either at the mobile charging sites or at home, you're wasting it. Or if you're free at home on solar, for instance, you especially in the wintertime when it's most important, you're getting less use. Potentially affected units, 694,304. Summary. Tesla is recalling certain 2024, 2027, so 2024 Cybertrucks, 2017 to 2025 Model 3s. Don't know that the 2025 Model 3s are yet on sale. They could be. But that tells us that these vehicles have been certified, right? So they should be right around the corner. 2020 to 2025 Model Y vehicles. And the TPMS warning light may not remain illuminated between drive cycles, failing to warn the driver of low pressure. As such, these vehicles fail to comply with the Federal Motor Vehicle Safety Standard number 138, tire pressure monitoring systems. As a remedy, Tesla has released an OTA software update free of charge. Owner notification letters are expected to be mailed February 15th, 2025, and owners may contact Tesla customer service at 877-798-3752. The number for this recall is Sierra Bravo 2400018. And so with that, we've seen progress now. So they're acknowledging software updates in the body like they always have, but right there at the top. This is not a bring it in service visit. This is a software update recall. So I call them, software update recalls. The federal government calls them software update repairs recall. They just added a word into what I did. Repairs recall. I think in my further comment, I said something to the effect of, while they use my word for software update, I don't think they're going to use my word for the physical recalls. The physical recalls or bringing into the dealer recalls, they are just going to keep doing what they've been doing, basically, is what I expect. It's a big step in the right direction, as many, even Tesla's CEO Elon Musk, have called for updated terminology for recalls over the past several years. I think we put too much emphasis on this guy. He has some great ideas, but the amount of just attention we put on him for folks who find him distasteful is off-putting. So like, I'm not suggesting the board do anything to him except maybe make him tell the truth more often, is that some folks think he's a bigger part of the company than he is, and that scares them from buying the cars. Or like we discussed last week or the week before, the person who was willing to let their vehicle run into disrepair out of spite for him. He diminished his role in the company a little bit when he sold shares to buy X Twitter. And we saw that with him saying something to the effect of he was complaining that he no longer had 25% of the company. It's like, you had it, and now you don't. So, brilliant guy, still doing the work. But I think that we focus on him too much in the news as far as Tesla's concerned. So anyway, NHTSA has acknowledged it's notices that the issue will be resolved with software updates, and this is the first time we're seeing the note directly below the title of the recall on its website. That part. And it expects 2024 Cybertrucks, and then, like we said, 17 to 25 Model 3s, 20 to 25 Model Ys, and it's interesting that only those ones, because you would think that it also affect new S and X, and it does not. Because the new S and X use Model 3 parts, same way the Cybertruck does. Interesting. So as I was saying before we pointed out that Musk also agrees with this, is that this is a step in the right direction, but we're still missing a step right here. We're still getting these mail. Oh, it's a picture. I tried to highlight it. It's a picture. The mailings. You're gonna start the mailings on the 15th of February. If the vehicle's already received it, you don't need to get a letter saying, "Hey, you may have already received this," or even if they want to get more specific and say, "Yes, you did receive this on October 15th" or whatever. We don't need the mailings for all of these. Yes, here's my proposal right here. You get an email, it says you did it, it's good, the recall was handled. That way you still have a recall. This is a safety item, so people do need to know. But hey, there's this recall out there. We've already handled it. You got it with the software update. I like it. Next, another email. Say in January. Say, hey, this thing is out there. The update's been available for 14 weeks. You haven't got it yet. Be advised, safety update. And then February 15th, scrub your list. All right, say these people received it. We didn't email them yet. Email them. These people still don't have it. All right, let's go ahead and print a letter per car and mail it to them. However, an improvement to that we could do on the mailing, say, hey, here's you. Here are your 5 cars in your family that are all registered to you. Please update the software. You have a safety requirement. Versus 1 letter per car. Obviously, if each car is in somebody else's name, you'll have to do 1 for each person. But that right there will be a good streamlining and a good balance between the safety concerns and the fact that this thing is so trivial to install. But yeah, if somebody's had the update available for weeks and still hasn't done it, they might not be aware. Maybe the car's in an airport storage lot and they didn't know. They'll get the letter when they go to pick up their car. Oh, okay, let me do that thing. Maybe they're a tour operator and nobody's bothered to update the car at all, which is weird. Especially since if you wait long enough and it's a safety issue like this, Tesla will push it over cellular. So at that point, somebody gets in the car, they might want to click the button. But I get some people are more respectful and don't touch people's stuff, even if it's something like a safety update. The reason being that some people have been burned by updates in the past, so they don't mess with other people's updates, which is fair. Way back when there was no TPMS, how did anyone survive with the workload of looking at your tires before you got in your car? They didn't, and there were crashes. And so that's why it became a requirement to be on the cars. That's how. How many people use window cranks? We've gotten spoiled and lazy. They didn't. That's why it became a requirement versus just a luxury. This has saved my bacon numerous times in the past million miles. With tires that were good at the start of a journey. And blew out in the middle of the trip. Or picked up some FOD, and rapidly deflated. Several get caught early enough to save the tire. Grammar check. And that just with nerds like me, presumably you, that do pre-checks or maintenance schedules. I can't spell the word maintenance like my whole life. Just never been able to do it. No, I don't like that. Who? Who? Okay, whatever. That's fine. Grammar check. You moved the word but didn't correct the spelling? That's all I wanted was spell check. All right. Where is this? You guys can see how my crazy brain works. If you want cranks for free consumer report treasures. They didn't look at their pressure. They drove their Ford Explorer with low tire pressure on their Firestone tires until they rolled over the vehicle, killing people. Yeah, they didn't. And the safety regs are written in blood. When enough people were killed this way, and it made national news, a tire company and their car manufacturer pointed fingers at each other. 41 members of Congress decided to actually do something and co-sponsored and passed the TREAD Act, and President Clinton signed it into law. Because that's what the functional government looks like. It has been wildly successful, and the incidents of blown tires or crashes, or blown tires and crashes, where tire pressures contributed to crashes has plummeted. Of course, some folks still call it socialism and communism and whine and complain. Shrug. Those people will ignore a TPMS sensor and keep doing the same. They do, but there are less of them. And humans are terrible drivers. Yes, but there are less of them. Most will say, what's this funny squiggle? Then it starts flashing. Or in Canada, or some cars, it says and does the same. They can look that up. Without the manual. Simple decoder. No, it's the manual's apostrophe, not manual's S. Cars. No. Fewer of them, capitalize. Starts. Yep. Comment. All right, I think that's enough of that. Let's get back to our regularly scheduled stories. So I mentioned that the Model S, several times now, has free supercharging for life. That did increase the price by $5,000. If you're like me, with $9,000 in counting of free supercharger usage, it makes sense. When I signed up, it was really about $2,000 to $2,500 baked into the price of the car for free supercharging for life. I got my money's worth. If you don't drive like me, or if you lease the car, it might not be that big a deal. If they don't count it as a new owner when you buy your lease out, this might still be a good deal. If they count the change of owner from Tesla to you, you'll lose lifetime supercharging, and that will suck. I'd clarify that if you want to lease a vehicle with lifetime supercharging and then buy the lease. And if you plan to buy it in the beginning when you lease it, ask then. Also get it in writing, just in case. And anyone buying a Tesla vehicle, remember, within the first 30 days, you can email them to get out of forced arbitration. I don't remember how to do that, but you can email them, and then you're not forced into arbitration. You can do it if you want, and you can do class actions if you want, but if you do nothing for the first 30 days regarding that, you are bound by arbitration. Brought back free lifetime supercharging. Another catch, substantial increase to $5,000. On Tuesday, Tesla extended free lifetime supercharging to Canada. This is the important part there. You can get it now in Canada, but they increased the price there by a Canadian $7,000. The all-wheel drive variant now starts at a Canadian $110,000 and $111,000 really, up from $103,990. Plaid starts at $131,990, up from $124,990. There are, of course, other restrictions they offer, such as those in the US. You can read the terms below. The existing offer of 3 months of full self-driving is still available. This offer can be stacked with other promotions, such as the free free self-driving transfer, which is the one they emailed me about. But both of these expire on December 31st, so you must have your car in hand by December 31st, unless it says ordered, but usually it doesn't say that. Usually it says in hand. You can also add 2,600 Canadian dollars referral discount to offset the price increase. Yes, so if you use my referral code, I think it's still good for $2,000. That will help offset the $5,000. So that would mean if you are like me, keep the car for a while, supercharge the hell out of it, then it'll be a great savings, especially if you are transferring your FSD. I would totally do it, again, if the kid wanted more than just rice every day. Any comments on this one? There typically aren't any comments on the Drive Tesla. If you're looking to buy a Tesla, use my code. Use my code. Sawyer and recalls. And so while we're on the recall segment, we've got another recall. This one is the Dodge Charger Daytona Fresonius, bunch of names, nostalgic names. The Dodge Daytona can't do a burnout. It's a little embarrassing. This is not a recall for this. They aren't. It just doesn't. Even though they advertise it doing that. Reviewers have discovered that the Dodge Charger Daytona can't do a burnout. The line lock feature, which disables the front electric motor and locks the wheels, was inexplicably missing from the test cars at the launch event. Dodge doesn't have anything to share about the future plans to enable or include line lock. And that's a big complaint from some folks. I don't do burnouts because tires are expensive and I can't afford that. Additionally, you've got all that rubber pollution into the environment, and then you've got the smoke. I kind of get it. It's kind of fun on tires that you already have to replace anyway, but even though it outmuscles the midlife crisis mobiles, ? And that's kind of funny because most other EVs that are performance oriented, you can smoke some tires if you want to, including Teslas. It's not muscle if it's easy to drive. Well, no, you need smoke and mirrors and noise to satisfy the midlife crisis. It does have noise, but it does not have smoke because it can't burn the tires. And you are not the target for true muscle cars, probably. Middle-aged men who still think they're teens and still think squealing tires will get them laid. I was talking to my wife, Gig, about some of the stuff that some of these men do, thinking that it makes them look cool to women, but it makes them look cool to men. And so they're doing it to get laid, as this person said. It's unintended consequences. Now, if they wanted to look cool and be macho in front of other men, like, look at me, I'm a manly man, it actually does that. But when they're looking to get laid, it does the opposite of what they're looking for. Continuing on, why did I have the tons of recalls if it's not exactly a recall? What was I doing? And that is the last on recalls for this week, I think. Yes. All right, back to where we were. We discussed the Model S. Let me find a picture of a Model S. There it is. We talked about the FSD update earlier than I had intended to, because like I said, I didn't rearrange the notes of the show. It's fine. This one I didn't read deeply into. This boating company has changed their perspective. Elixir has pivoted their business model to enable globally unified electric water taxi network. I don't remember what they were doing before, but now you've got, I don't know if it's hydrofoil or just a multi-hull, but these are going to be taxis, electric taxis. Good idea. Young electric water service Elixir is pivoting its previous business strategy to become the U.S.'s first operator of all electric vehicles. It now supports new and existing marine fleet operators with a unified platform. Okay, we don't need all business stuff. Just tell us about the taxis and where they were before. Post-pandemic, environmental awareness. Elixir's initial transport solutions would include water taxi services in the U.S. and Miami, and we changed cameras. We changed cameras again. Interesting. Is this thing still set up anywhere close to what I asked it to do? Maybe? I don't know. Anyway, we learned their initial transport solutions would include electric water taxi services beginning in Miami. They divulged plans to launch a pilot service of the water taxis on the waterways of Biscayne Bay this past fall, starting with 2 additional Axopar vessels. Initial rollout was pre-electric service. Okay, so they had like hybrids or something. Mission developed the world's all-electric, zero-emissions water taxi. Okay. I just like that it was electric taxis. That was all this was about. It's a long article. You can go read it if you want. I will paste it in the chat here. Moving on. Amazingly, we're not done with recalls. I'm sorry. We're not. Back to recalls. Chevrolet GM is recalling 2025 Chevrolet Equinox EVs over an interesting safety concern. It's too quiet. So, GM issued a recall on the 2025 Equinox EV because it doesn't make enough noise when traveling at low speeds. EV is quiet already, but with a faulty pedestrian alert system, the Equinox may not produce enough sound to alert those nearby. Here's the fix. Bring it to the dealer and we'll update the software to make it make noise. Where is it? Failed to make enough noise. Recall issued on December 5th states that the pedestrian alert system may have the wrong software. What is bouncing down here? What's bouncing? Why? Oh, now that I pulled down the bar, nothing is bouncing. We'll wait for it to distract me again. The systems are making noise to alert those around the vehicle that's moving or backing up. I get the ones for backing up, but I still disagree with the Academy for the Blind and the Seeing Eye Dog training facilities who managed to lobby that this law be put in place. Just because it's not that I'm against blind people or deaf people. It's that the hypocrisy of the application. There are vehicles like some Hyundais and Rolls Royces that are fully combustion and are quieter than the requirements for the EVs. But because they aren't hybrid in any way or electric, they don't have to make enough noise. That's the part where I am against this. Because if it were what they said, then they would require these vehicles that are too quiet to have a noisemaker on them, or to be tuned such that they are audible. And since they only focus on hybrids and electrics, it's BS. It's hypocrisy. If you come back and say, hey, Rolls-Royce, we know your car is quiet, now you need a noise speaker. They'll probably do that and make it sound cool rather than tune their engine to be louder. But at the same time, their electric car already complies, so they will probably just take that system and whatever it is and shove it in the gas car. Same for the Hyundai and whoever else is already too quiet. But Again, not that I'm against deaf or blind or being lazy enough to not train your dogs to listen for tires. I say lazy, it's expensive, and already so many of the dogs fail that adding another testing regimen to it would be super expensive and cause a lot more failures. Again, it's not that, even though that's mildly annoying, but they can't continue to do what they were doing. The part that I am upset about is the hypocrisy that there can be vehicles out there that are failing, and they are just look the other way. Oh, they don't care about them. They're not new technology. We don't give a flip. If it is what you say, that these cars are too quiet, and you haven't trained the dogs to listen for them, they need a backup beeper or whatever. Same thing like all the other EVs and hybrids, and they need to make a minimum number of noise. So put a noisemaker on them until 19 miles an hour. That is the part that boils me. The hypocrisy. And before I get back on politics, let's go back to the Chevy. I guess that's what got me there in the first place. The Chevy's talking about what annoys me about that ruling, that law, that standard. But I will struggle through it. So they don't make enough noise. Starting on December 5th, the Pedestrian Alert System, or PWS on the Teslas they call it, have the wrong software. As a result, it doesn't make enough noise, or they may have the wrong software, sorry. As a result, it doesn't make enough noise to meet the requirements for FMVSS number 141, minimum sound requirements for hybrid and electric vehicles. Just should be a minimum sound requirement for cars, period. GM said that without enough noise, pedestrians may be unaware of the vehicle, which increases the risk of injury. But if you get rolled by a Rolls Royce, that's not a problem. Enjoy. Breathe deep. Breathe deep. If you've been following the whole of my X account, you know that I cannot stand hypocrisy. I'm not saying that I don't make mistakes as well, but something like this is so easy to fix. That's so easy to fix. I mean, not just this with the whatever recall method, but the parts that are hypocrisy. 7,606 of these Equinox was all of them. All Equinoxes are 100% are estimated to have the defect. It does not involve the gas-powered Chevy Equinox. Yes, because no, it's stupid. Hybrid and electric vehicles. The gas Equinox is not a hybrid, so it is not. It's not covered by this, even if it is quiet enough to need it. GM fixed the issue at its assembly plant on October 16th of 2024 and issued a non-compliance recall on December 5th. So for the ones that made it out before this. David Barnes says, I hate sound producing systems. One feature I wanted in our older BEV was silence. I agree. I agree. At least Tesla made it fun and cool. There's actually some stuff you can do with the speaker. Like on Cybertruck, it's also the horn, and the horn sounds really cool. And on the others, you got the fun stuff like with Sentry mode. So if the others would do fun stuff with the speakers, that would make the hardware not such a waste, at the very least. And yes, it could help save someone, but what if it was a Rolls Royce? And I'm not picking on Rolls Royce. It's just that they are known for being quiet. If you own a 2025 Equinox EV, you can take it to a dealership. Oh, are you serious? Seriously. I'll bring it in recall on software for the freaking speaker. You can't download that over the air? Chevy has software updates over the air. They have the capability. Probably not for the whole body control module, though. Anyway, they'll be updated free of charge. Owner letters are expected to be mailed on January 27th of 2025. So this is so urgent that we fixed it in October, let you know in December, and aren't going to fix it until January. This is still condensed, so I'm not saying that Chevy sat on it and didn't do the right thing. Chevy's just doing their steps. These things are an administrative nightmare. But again, if this is such a problem, gas cars need it, hybrids have it, electrics have it. I believe that also means that the fuel cells have it too. because they're fuel cell EVs. But they might not. I didn't look into it. If you have questions, you can contact Chevrolet customer service at 800-222-1020. And the recall number is November 242-479-760. And for more information, you can contact the NHTSA hotline at 888-327-4236. And I may just start a noisemaker campaign for gas cars. Are you guys into that? Would anybody sign it if I were to do that? I'm curious. I've only been railing on it for 10 years now. It may be time for me to actually do something about it. 2025 Equinox EV trim. Why do we care about the prices? I don't care about the prices. I mean, those are pretty low prices, but this was about the recall. The Equinox EV is already off to a hot start with 1,500,000 models sold in its first full quarter, with GM introducing the long-awaited LT FWD trim for its, so it's the LT trim front-wheel drive for the model year 2025, starting at $34,995. He's just pivoting into another story, I guess. Most affordable EV in the US with 315 or more miles of range. All right, I'll give you that. Then we've got, we touched on this last week. We touched on the opportunity that Nissan had before they shoved their CEO in an instrument crate and sent him on his way. There's development. Honda and Nissan are allegedly close in talks on an EV merger to survive the industry's rapid shift to electric. What would be funny as hell is if Honda and Mitsubishi, together with Nissan, end up doing the right thing for EVs and it's leaving Toyota in the dust. And then they have a swap for who's dominant. That would be funny to me. Mitsubishi is closely aligned with Nissan. So if there were any sort of merger, they would come along for the ride. And that would be almost all of the Japanese industry except for Toyota. Right there. One swoop. I think Subaru, I don't know how Subaru qualifies, but the Japanese part of Subaru will be stuck with whatever Toyota is doing for the most part. Taking drastic measures. Tesla and Chinese EV leaders like BYD are eating their lunch. Honda and Nissan, and not that Nissan doesn't have any EVs or doesn't know what to do. They just took so long to transition from their lead to making it something that wasn't an early adopter mobile. And then that thing that they did was not selling particularly well. Probably because they sent their CEO out in instrument case. You can show me more details, but as far as I can tell from doing the research, it looks like trumped up charges to get rid of him. I'm open. Anyway, so these guys are likely to merge, and something I didn't put in the show. There's been another report since this one that says that they are looking at pre-merger sharing plants, like just building each other's cars in their plants to be more efficient. That or this part of it was pulled out of context, I guess. And this is something I didn't realize at first. I see it here, and it's reminding me that something I didn't realize at first was that the Nissan Ariya has the charge port on the front passenger side, which you might think is wrong. It's actually right. It's right, because if you want to use superchargers, you need it on the driver's rear or the passenger's front. Look at that. They can use the superchargers without blocking extra stalls and without having long cables. And we already talked about their adapter needing the little plastic shim. You stick it in there once, and we don't know what it does. Structural heat management. It's a piece of plastic. Stick it in there and leave it in there, and you can use your Tesla adapter to charge at the supercharger sites. The companies are considering doing a business under a holding company. That exact details will including or have not been decided, but the companies are expected to pull Mitsubishi, which Nissan has a 24% stake into the new partnership. Combined sales of around 8 million, the EV merger would result in one of the largest auto groups globally. Nissan could benefit from Honda's hybrid tech, while Honda could learn something from Nissan, which has years of experience developing EVs after launching the iconic Leaf as a 2010 model. They say in 2010, as a 2010 model. I think it was 2009, late, like wintertime, like December. The potential for Honda and Nissan EV mergers signals the growing pressure on legacy automakers to keep up with Tesla and other global EV leaders. Top comment by Brent says, I find it somewhat ironic that the company that brought one of the earliest EVs to the market, including the original Honda Insight, yes, they did, for the Gen 1 modern EVs, the EV1, the Honda, I don't remember what the Honda was, and the Toyota RAV4 EV, Nissan had one too. It was even smaller than the others as far as impact. Then GM successfully fought back about being told what to do and was able to cancel the EV1 project, and everybody else followed suit. But the first one back into the current modern EV era was Nissan. As far as the legacies go, you got Nissan, and then very closely behind them was Chevrolet with the Volt extended range EV, which was, yes, a plug-in hybrid, but the way it was programmed was it was EV first, then Fat Prius second. Why do I call it Fat Prius? The performance sucked in gas mode, and it wasn't very good at using that gas compared to a Prius. So I called it Fat Prius. Joel says, I'd sign up for that noisemaker campaign. Thank you, Joel. I will need to look up how to do this, and then I will start it. Let me put in my notes right now. No, I don't want to scroll to do it because I'm going to lose where I was. Let's go to make a new page. Start campaign. For noisemakers on gas cars. Let's truly save some lives. Instead of some performative BS. I'll obviously have to make that much cleaner to send it around publicly. Okay. And then I will include a link to the Chevy recall. And oh shoot, let me just copy this whole thing. The Chevy recall, the picture, the link. And yes. Thank you, Joel. Okay. I can't see any way for moving the. So I went on a tangent of how they were first. Mass market, EV market, they're having to partner in 2024 because they can't see a way forward individually. What's even more amazing and dumbfounding about this is how daggum simple it is to make EVs, like home builds. You can just take a car, there's kits involved, you can do that. These guys, they don't need suppliers or partners to do this. They can make their own motors, they can make their own control software and electronics, or at their massive size, they can get custom units, or they can buy the best of the best at enough volume that it doesn't have to look or feel turnkey, and that they'll be able to handle warranties and reliability. Or there's still the opportunity that they could buy it from Tesla. I don't think Tesla ever shut that business down, where they were selling components to manufacturers. I know it's not a priority of theirs anymore, but I don't know that they shut it down yet. There's no excuse for these legacies not to have a respectable EV by now and are just getting started. It was willful. They didn't care. They had the technology. They had the resources to make this happen. BYD's cheapest EV, the Seagull, was China's top-selling vehicle, EV or gas-powered, again last month. Meanwhile, only 5 gas-powered models made the top 20 as buyers continue to shift to electric options. Yeah, China You look at what they've got for sales, and you had to work to spot a gas car in that list. Or you'll see one of the dual platform cars, one that's either a hybrid or can be bought anyway, hybrid gas electric, to find gas cars in there. Japan isn't the only country feeling the pressure. Volkswagen, Ford, GM, and many others are struggling to survive in the world's largest EV market. However, all these guys actually have a compelling option. Or in the case of these two, just use each other's technologies depending on what continent we're talking about. Or these guys, letting people rebadge their cars, like Honda. We'll talk about that in a minute. Will combining resources help Honda and Nissan keep pace? Question mark. Let us know your thoughts. So I liked his post there. I'll give him a thumbs up. The simple reason is they just saw those early hybrids EVs as technical projects. Yes, they were just skunk works. They didn't see them as generational change to the whole auto industry and would have huge implication for climate change. So those early projects were successful. The companies didn't go all in. They did the right thing with the Prius at first. Let's be honest. Profits come first and foremost, even while it's burning the world up. This is true. Even if we use Toyota as an analogy, Toyota didn't want to firmly adapt their lineup to hybrids in the Western markets until Volkswagen got caught with Dieselgate. This is true. Toyota was more than happy building, promoting, and financing turbo diesels for over a decade since Prius was available in Europe. If we broaden our scope to global markets and other OEMs, they're more than willing to sell their old business model and external costs associated with the dirtier products in South America, Africa, Asia, etc., wherever emission standards are not as strong. Yeah. All right, I don't know what he's going to say, but I like his username, Buttered Toast. I hope this works out. As an electric Civic hatchback built on the next-gen Leaf platform, which fixes the woes of the old Leaf, would be pretty nifty. Yes. It'd fill the currently empty niche of smallish hot hatch EVs nicely, as would a beefed-up version of the Cybercab. Excuse me, as we talked with Brian from Futuraza, the Cybercab, and heard from later from Franz, Cybercab can't be this car. But something that looks like it, or similarly sized, could. I'd fill in the empty niche of smallest EV hot hatches nicely, and would be a nice change of pace from the endless procession of CUVs and SUVs. There you go, Eddie. Not another old CUV. That's assuming Honda is willing to capitalize on the reputation of its existing models to leverage their EVs. I would hope somebody there would be smart enough to do that. I found it surprising that outside of GM, no one is releasing EVs with the same names as their gas counterparts. Agreed. And yeah, you're right. It is just GM and a little bit of Ford. A little bit. The Mustang Mach-E is really a new thing. And the Ford F-150 Lightning is the only one of any note outside of what GM is doing. And whatever China is doing as well. In Honda's case, the EV versions of the Civic and CR-V could do very well. Yes, they would. They would sell like gangbusters if priced correctly and featured well. Assuming that they get the basic EV basics down while reflecting on the spirit of the legacy vehicles. Yes. Eventually, a Japanese car company will make a decent range, smallest EV with reasonable features and selling it for under $30,000 and crush the market. They can. Will they? Will they? I don't think so. They are terrified of getting off the ICE train, suitably incentivized by their government to try anything but EVs. The Japanese are clearly on the hydrogen train because of government incentives. If it was purely on profit, they would have stopped that mess years ago. Please, Honda, Nissan, you can do it. So if they do this, what then happens to Afeela? Because Afeela is a joint venture between Honda and Sony. Huh? So we could have the Honda, Nissan, Sony, Mitsubishi company. Hatchback fan here is considering the Ioniq 5 while also holding out for the R3X, the awesome looking off-roady style Rivian. I like the look of that vehicle, especially in that green with them wheels. Oof, it gets me. Love it. But would be probably be. heard something. Probably be swayed by a nicely designed electric Civic hatch with similar styling as the Prologue. Yeah, I'd like that. Has to be cheap as the ICE versions, though, if it wants any hope of continuing to net the 20-something crowd. Yes and no. Vehicle prices have been, just keep it in your lowest bracket, and then we just got to figure out a way to get young folks into new cars. Continuing on the list, we have talked about Honda, Nissan. Then, immediately after it was another article, and I said, now it's more real. Now it's more real was referring to the Honda-Nissan merger possibility. And then right underneath it was this other tweet that I also have touched on in the past, but we've got numbers on it now. Nope, that's not it. That's not it at all. All right, let's make this bigger because I don't need a whole article to tell you about it. Oh, never mind. That's not the one. It's using the picture of the one I thought we were talking about. So continuing on, we talked about this company last week that did a week before, that definitely a week before, that did a an install at a condo facility where it was super cheap and just worked. So California is now going to require EV charging for all new residences in 2026. You may think, oh, well, they've already done that before. Not quite. So they require a certain percentage of EV charging ready spaces. And now this is all of them. They need to all be ready. And maybe not just ready. They may all need plugs. Because it's been a while since I read this article and I forget. New building codes require EV chargers in most new overnight parking spots starting in 26, going a big way towards solving the only actual problem with EVs. Even that's not a problem, but it's a huge inconvenience to not have a car that can replenish its range where you leave it most of the time. So home or work are awesome, both. One of the main benefits is the convenience of owning and charging the car. Instead of having to go out of your way to refuel it, you just park it at home in the same place it spends at least 8 hours a day. Yeah, we got in from sort of a hellacious trip last night or early this morning at 4:30, and the car was in the yellow, and it just needed 2 hours and 50 minutes to charge in the frozen cold. I had the high amp charger, but if I had a smaller car like a Model 3, Model Y, it would still be the same effect with the 48 amp charger. About 2 to 3 hours, and it's full from whatever damage I did. This benefit only applies to those with consistent parking space, which they can easily install in like a garage or a driveway, perhaps at work. When talking about owners who live in apartment buildings, it can sometimes get more complicated, especially since a lot of these owners, they don't invest in their buildings. They do the bare minimum. They don't do any upgrades, even if those upgrades can either retain customers or attract new ones. Not quite slumlording it, but that same mindset as the slumlord. Anyway, and why I say the same mindset, because with their help, some of these things could be super cheap. We're talking like $300 to $1,000 to install charging, versus without their help, you're looking at anywhere from $1,000 to $10,000 to get the same charger installed, and then after that kind of investment, you have to leave it there. No, I'm not paying you to improve your property, not directly. California fix is about to come in the form of new building codes with sweeping EV charging requirements, ensuring a huge percentage of new parking spots in California, which will be ready for EV charging. They already required a lesser percentage of units to be EV ready, depending on the size of the development, but now the new rules require at least one charger per unit in most cases. So that's why they said most instead of all. Every unit will need one EV charger capability. And if you're already in there doing that, if your stuff is sized and priced appropriately, why not make every parking space? Just be ready for it. Maybe not install chargers and equipment, but electrical lines and outlets. Yes, let's do it. For any new unit with a parking space in a multifamily development, like an apartment or condo, at least one of the parking spaces must be EV ready. And EV ready space is defined as having at least a 240 volt 20 outlet. That's low. I'd want to see 30 amps there on 240. And what are they going to do about places that are on three-phase? Because if you have three-phase power, that's not going to be 240. It's going to be 208, 207. And I definitely want more than 20 amps with that lower voltage. But doing it this way keeps the cost way down at 20 amps. Way, way down. And that's enough for most people because a regular wall outlet is enough for the majority of the American trips. But it's definitely not going to get you done in 3 hours a night from empty. But again, you're not emptying the car for most people. So that's a NEMA 620 or 1430 or 1450. The 620 is a regular looking outlet. So a 20 amp NEMA 520 would be the regular outlet with the dual blades and the ground. And NEMA NEMA 5-20 would be the one with the little ear on the side, with the one blade up and the one blade out to the side. 620 rotates those blades, so they're both flat, and that's a 20 amp, 240 volt outlet, or 208 on three phase. The 1430 you're familiar with, that's the dryer plug, and the 1450 that's the oven and the RV plug, or a regular EV. Sawyer's got more on the recall math he's been doing, so I'm going to pull that up and move it to the window that we're on here. California. Go back to you guys looking at California. So the other one that we don't see too much anymore, but we saw it on the early EVs, the 2010 to 2013 models, a 650. The reason why the 650 is you didn't need a neutral. In fact, you still don't need the neutral, but it just allows a compliant plug that works with other stuff. Or J1772 or J3400, aka JNAX, which would be the connector formerly known as the Tesla connector. However, EV-ready spaces are allowed to share power between them, as we saw in the pictured installation. If the parking space is the unit's own space, new rules say it should be on a separate circuit wired to that unit's electrical panel when feasible. So this makes sense. So rather than having like a group electrical system, they're saying just put it on your meter, which is the simplest way to do this. Unless they want to give free charging as a perk for the units, not the unit, but the whole facility. But that does make it harder on ownership changes. So I get why they'd want to just make sure it's already wired in there. The other thing with that is you don't have to worry about, like we talked about this one with the one in the picture, that they had a software solution. So if they went out of business, either the software provider or the facility stopped paying for it, they would still have the ability to monitor usage and attribute it to your portion of the bill. But if it's just been in your own meter, it's just the simplest way. It's the most fair. Assuming that you can lock out, like if there's assigned parking or you have a switch, something to make sure that people aren't running up your bill. If the space is shared, then at least one EV ready space needs to exist per unit. If there are more parking spaces than there are actual units, at least 25% of the excess need to be EV ready. Ooh. And there are options for individual cities to increase this requirement. So that way, if your guest shows up, you don't have to give up your charger for them to charge. You can. It'd be nice. It's polite. But you don't have to. As well as, this whole ability for like some of the cities like Torrance or wherever they want to increase, not Torrance, where's the headquarters for Tesla? Torrance is Honda. Palo Alto, if they wanted to be 50 to 75% of the excess spaces, they could do that. But the rules go on from here. beyond multifamily developments, they also apply to hotels. Oh, awesome! Because right now, I when I do hotels, I call ahead and I make sure that I can plug in, and not just, oh yeah, we have supercharging. No, I want to set my thing on all night. So anyway, a hotel must have 65% EV-ready parking spaces, with an option for cities to increase that requirement to 100%. And I hope that they track this with the growth, because if they're not requiring 100% when the fleet has already converted, that's going to suck. Even non-residential parking lots have new EV requirements. Oh, interesting. 20% of spaces in commercial, office, or retail lot must be EV ready, with an option for cities to increase that requirement to 30% or 45%. And this is why people say California is so the way they are. That's going to be expensive, but I'm not saying it's wrong. However, if you have charging at home and work, do you need it at the shopping center? I'm not complaining. I'm just saying that this might be too aggressive. I'll take it though. I'm hearing a tapping. Anyway, that would also mean that anyone visiting can secure charging as well, not just your visitors or people who visit your office. Interesting. Presumably, this will incentivize an increase in the number of public DC charging spaces, which should make DC charging on the road just that much easier, even though it's already pretty easy in California. Finally, the rules don't just apply entirely to new developments, but any added parking on an existing development. So anytime a parking space is added or altered in a way that requires a building permit, the space must be EV ready. Super aggressive. The last point is important. Not only do new developments get covered by the codes, but we'll gradually see older developments here having to add EV charging as time goes on. Yeah, because if you need to not just resurface or reseal your lot, but if you need to redo your lot, like because it's now time to, it's old, you need to redo the bed and the upper level. Yes, it'll get done. It includes new solar canopy parking projects, which are required to add chargers, but doesn't include retrofits of existing parking lots that add level 1 charging. They're exempted from the minimum voltage requirements and service requirements, so 240, 20 amp, 3.3 kilowatt service requirements. For now. So if you are super cheap and you want to be able to say you have electric and not actually do much about it, get yourself a bunch of level 1s and do it now. Or you'll have to do it later, where it should cost less, but could cost more, depending on when this happens. Positive reaction from advocacy groups. Yep. Electric's take. I've long said that charging for people who don't own their own parking space is the only real problem for EVs. I will agree with you. That and people who need to tow long distances quickly. The last time I said it was in the story on a condo complex that covered all its spots with charging for just $405 a unit, the one in the picture. In that story, I said, and frankly, we also need legislation and building codes to hop in and require this sort of thing. And here we are just 2 weeks later, and I got exactly what I asked for. Well, ain't that a Merry freaking Christmas? I'll agree. So it was 2 weeks ago we talked about this then. A note on cost. While I'm rarely sympathetic to these desires of big residential developers who all seem pathologically opposed to any sort of minimum guidelines for construction, yes, indeed, and always looking to cut corners, often putting them at odds with the state of California, it is true that California is an expensive place to build, and that's not a problem we want to contribute more to. That's where I was pausing on the parking lots that were not part of home or work. What's great about these codes is that while they do require minimum standards, they seem open to allowing some flexibility on feasibility. A strict requirement of a certain amount of power per unit set up on a separate circuit would likely still be a drop in the bucket for new developments in already expensive California, yes. But making lower power installations possible, especially for existing developments without triggering new build requirements, is a great middle ground. I'll agree. Chris says, we live in an 18-apartment building with underground parking. Most apartments are owned instead of rented. A few years ago, one of the neighbors wanted to install a 22 kilowatt chargers at every single parking spot. That's even more powerful than mine. Mine is a 20 kilowatt. Wow. Also to note that that 22 kilowatts is the max for J1772/J3400 AC charging. That makes sense. I like it. Not that any modern Tesla can use it anymore. The Hummer EV can, I believe, if I read it right. He was downvoted faster than you can say EV. Wow. A compromise, as a compromise, we asked if we could install a single 3 kilowatt outlet hooked up to our personal meter. Since we paid for it in full, nobody was against it. Now we're the only ones with charging in our parking spot. Wow. Surely not a universal solution, but it's actually possible to get some sort of charging infrastructure, even in existing buildings. I wonder if that was a tactic. Hey, we need 22 kilowatt chargers for everybody. Hell no. Well, what about I pay and I get a 3 kilowatt for myself? Yeah, it's your money. Go ahead. It's a strategy to consider if you've got some stuck up HOA, building committee, whatever situation going on and you need charging at home. 3 kilowatts is plenty enough for overnight charging. Since we have that, we rarely charge anywhere else. Yeah, and so with the advent of a robust DC charging network, this will take care of most of your stuff. And it just means one extra charge if you had a busy day before a road trip. And at least you're not starting on zero. At least your battery will be warm. If you're charging in the wintertime, it'll be warm and you can get to the charger and not significantly impact your trip. And then for the rest of the year, 3 kilowatts is probably all you really need. My 3-hour charge this morning, I'm not going anywhere today. It could have been done at 3 kilowatts. Be done charging tomorrow because I got a 100 kilowatt hour pack. 88 kilowatt capacity left. So I'm in agreement with Lesson from EVAC that these codes strike the right balance of ensuring minimum standards for EV charging while also keeping costs reasonable, not unduly burdening multifamily developments, which are something that California desperately needs. That's a lot of low-density, car-dependent areas in California, and we don't want to make it too hard to build higher-density neighborhoods so we can develop, hopefully, start working towards more walkable and less car dependence. Yes. The codes also include some measures to help in that respect by adjusting the requirements for bicycle parking. Oh, just kind of threw that in there. Instead of basing bike rack requirements on motor vehicle traffic, the rules now base them on square footage, which helps decouple these rules from the current car-centric mentality. It also eliminates an exception, which allowed developments to get out of offering bike parking. Ooh. So, how about instead of square footage, you do bikes per sleeping area? So if you got, bedrooms, say, you need 2 bikes per bedroom. 3 bikes per bedroom? Yeah, because you're still gonna have guests. Oh. All right, we found another recall item. Tesla finds cell dent issues in Cybertrucks and start replacing battery packs. Yesterday. Oh, no, day before yesterday. Tesla found a problem with cell denting in some Cybertrucks, and it's starting to change the battery packs. The automaker is even sending the trucks back to the Gigafactory, Texas, to investigate and replace the packs. Why don't you replace the packs at the service center? I'm guessing the ones they're sending back are Tesla-owned. Like they're still in sales. The ramp has been relatively smooth. Tesla is now capable of producing several thousands of Cybertrucks per week at the Gigafactory, Texas. Not without issues. Recalls. According to sources familiar with the matter and documents reviewed by Electric, Tesla has detected cell dents in some Cybertruck battery packs and is now shipping those trucks back to Gigafactory, Texas, to have the battery packs replaced. Cybertruck is the only Tesla vehicle built in-house or with in-house 4680 cell, and the issue detected in many inventory vehicles. According to someone familiar with the matter, but it doesn't appear to have shown up in customer vehicles yet. So either this is something new, or they haven't looked in customer vehicles yet. So this is a little more involved, because remember, Cybertruck and Model Y structural pack, the whole floor of the vehicle, including the seats and the center console, is attached to the battery. So if they did them at the shop, that'll be a normal battery replacement process, except the Cybertruck is bigger, so you need the height. And in addition to that, after they get the battery pack out, they would need to move over your carpets, your floors, well, not your floor. Well, yeah, your carpet, your everything that makes the floor, your seats, your center console to the new pack. Or it would come with all those things, and hopefully your customer hasn't done stuff like reupholster the seats or anything fancy like that. I guess that's their problem by the warranty, but it's not a good customer service. They recently found, another issue with Cybertruck battery pack and released a vehicle service bulletin about that. Some trucks have the battery ancillary harness improperly installed. The automaker wrote, on certain Cybertruck vehicles, the high voltage battery ancillary harness may be improperly routed, which may strain the harness branches and or connectors between the high voltage controller and battery management boards, potentially preventing the HVC and BMB communication through one of the two harness branches, which is very similar to what happened with my car when it got its battery replacement. On the old S's and X's, the BMBs were susceptible to moisture. Even with their conformal coatings, the moisture in the air from condensation would destroy them. So a couple of mine, 3 of them got destroyed. 2 sent the modules low, 2 sent the modules high, and sorry, 1 sent the modules low, 2 sent the modules high, and then the sense wire for the whole thing got corroded. And so between those 4 issues, they said just new pack. Just get it out of the way. Production ramps are relatively smooth, question mark. 6 recalls allegedly puts the CT in the top 40%, top 10% of recalled vehicles. They've shipped under 50,000 with over 1 million paid reservations. I respectfully disagree. Well, look at the ones that required it to come back. And then compare that against other completely new platforms. Not just like, refreshes, but completely new platforms. If necessary, Tesla technicians are asked to inspect the vehicle for symptoms and replace the harnesses on the trucks coming into service if they have to. Okay. Sounds like Tesla's having a tough end of quarter, end of year, on top of the usual madness to deliver everything in inventory. Oh yeah, you're going to have some service waits if that's the case. The automaker is facing some serious issues with the new version of the Hardware 4 computer and trying to get rid of Cybertruck inventory. All right, all that last part is stuff that people scream at Fred about. There may be something with the computers, we're not sure, and they may be having trouble moving Cybertrucks, but it doesn't seem likely. To address the latter, Tesla has to convert them to Canadian vehicles, non-Foundation series, and also replace some battery packs. I don't know that you can convert them to Canadian vehicles. Interesting. I think what they did there is just adjust the mix of what they're sending to Canada and what they're keeping here. Tesla needs to attempt to sell these trucks by the end of the quarter to make its financials look better by the end of the quarter. All right, Fred, you got really weird there. You had a really good article and you got really weird there. Moving on to, again, stuff that was already on the list. Back to recalls, even though this was not on the list. Sawyer says this means that Tesla has to spend about $3.7 million this year mailing 5.17 million paper letters to U.S. owners about over-the-air software update recalls, even though most of these software updates had already been completed at people's homes before the letters arrived, before they were sent, not even before they arrived, before they were sent, or mail merged even. Waste time and money too. The OEM has to pay for printing, now up to 73 cents per letter. Good gracious. And administration, yeah. And you got to pay somebody to put the letter in and print it. Yeah. Yep. And they use really nice envelopes for some reason, and paper. In Tesla's case, the issue has very often been resolved prior to mail delivery. Yeah. Absolutely waste by the NHTSA Gov. Those will solve this on day one. I don't know about that part, but yeah, it is a waste. And I'd imagine that's probably going to be part of his focus. I doubt it's going to be completely conflict of interest free. Since everyone driving Tesla needs the Tesla app, is there a path to moving towards the physical mailer notification in the app? Similar to what I said about email. Yeah, you pop up in the app even better than email. Has lobbying made any headway? Curious what lawmakers say. I'm actually going to copy this right here. I don't want it to be exclusively in the app, but I think that'd be even better than the email because then it's like next to free. Emails are slightly more expensive than the app. Also, still next to free. Let's go back to our campaign and I'll put this link in there as well so I don't forget about the app. Not that I plan to forget about it, but it is a thing. All right, so we talked about California. Let's talk about Tesla Semi. We haven't heard much about it lately other than the building being constructed. We've got I just realized that the solar never started back up after I asked it to. We probably have a full battery just sitting there. It's at 99%. Yeah, we got a full battery just sitting there. We're wasting power. There we go. Now we're on that battery. Not that there's some left to refill it, but at least I can use some of it. Because I meant to do that for the show, and then all the stuff to show the show just busted. So burning 709 kilowatts. Oh, sorry, watts. Pulling in 360 watts from the battery. 0 from solar. So yeah, it's done for the day for solar. I love wintertime. Where do you get that? Over here. And here. And okay, so Saya Inc. has announced that the Saya LTL freight has partnered, so less than load freight has partnered with Tesla to introduce 2 of the company's first Tesla semi-trucks to its fleet. For the executive operations, Patrick Sugar, our partnership with Tesla underscores the dedication to evolution while staying true to the values that have guided us for the past century. As we celebrate 100 years, we are focused on building a sustainable and innovative foundation for the next century. And that little graphic you're seeing there, that animation, their truck actually uses that theme. Let's look at it. Love the wraps, as S.E. Robinson. That little digital circuit. That's a pretty cool looking wrap. Another day at the Tesla Delivery Center. So many happy costumers. I love my job. Costumers. That's an interesting. Oh, well, we got 2 of them. His and hers. Congratulations. All right. Nicholas over in Sweden has told us that the insanity is under investigation. What's going on here? Tesla's supercharger jab. IF Metal in Sweden has a strike against... they've been in strike. It's now in the 2nd year of the strike. However, the sort of strike, we've talked about this many times, through the sympathetic actions of other unions, IF Metal has managed to block the connection of several newly built supercharger stations. Ooh. It's going to be tougher to get around. This is achieved by leveraging the monopoly of local energy companies responsible for network connections. Employees of these companies are simply forbidden by collective agreements from working with Tesla. Currently, Tesla has 5 known supercharger stations with a total of 72 fast chargers that remain without power across the country. If not for IF Metal, these stations would have opened. Tesla has now taken the opportunity to send a jab at IF Metal. You know what, though? With Megapack and solar, assuming they have the space to do it, these can be off-grid superchargers. That really thumb your nose at them. Here, all EV drivers should charge for emission-free travel. Contributing to sustainable Sweden, reads the text on one charging post at the installation. The post also features a hedgehog wearing a high-vis vest, which has become the symbol of Tesla employees supporting their employer during the ongoing strike. The hedgehog is Tesla's mascot and appears in several contexts. If the high-vis vest is the same model as the conflict vest worn by IF Metal, but for the hedgehog, instead of "Thanks, I'm good" vest. Instead, it's a "Thanks, I'm good" vest. Thanks, I'm good. I don't need IF Metal. Oh. All right, yeah. Troll them back. connection block under investigation. Whether it's legal for any energy companies to deny Tesla a connection is currently under investigation by the Swedish Energy Markets Inspectorate. Such denial is only permitted when there is a lack of network capacity or other specific reasons. Whether union blockade constitutes as a specific reason has never been tested before. Swedish way, baby. That's what we are investigating. Historically, we haven't had many cases about denied connections. That's where we're assessing now, says Jurker Seden, an analyst at the Energy Markets Inspectorate. The investigation is expected to be completed by the spring of 2025. That's so slow. Yeah. Thank you for that, Nicholas. Should be a no-brainer. For safety reasons, they should power up the supercharger sites. What if an EV shows up near 0% in the freezing cold while being pursued by ne'er-do-wells? As it is today, they are not visible to you in your Tesla. There's that. Mafia-level blackmailing? Yes, it is. The Swedish Mafia, I've heard it called. Another reason for not having a union, I'd say it's pretty much the only reason not to have a union. Like, they do good when they're not doing this. Max says, good summary. Now 88 stalls waiting on power. Max remembers head of supercharging now. 88 stalls waiting on power and counting 100 stalls by the end of the year. So they're still building them. They just can't plug them in. Interesting. It's already looking like Sweden will have the most waiting while EV drivers are suffering. New software update. Cool. Suffering in Europe over the holidays could have been avoided if this critical infrastructure had not been blocked from getting them energized. It'd be a savage move for you guys to keep installing chargers and then just be waiting to get turned on. Yes. Also, I've been muted. Also, if there's room, drop a mega pack. Solar. And off-grid the suckers. Thumb your nose. I was going to tag him, but I don't want to give him any ideas. Hey, heads up. 100 stalls. What? Supposed to have for EV owners in Sweden. Agreed. Well, that's not my car. I got an email about that same software update. I thought it was my car, the way the email read. Next up, we've got I think this is just the picture of the side of the vehicles. I've started keeping even the replies to make sure they don't get lost. Nope, sorry, did his own write up on it. Partnered with Tesla, vigorously tested the vehicle in early this year and achieved 1.73 kilowatt hours per mile for 80,000 pound semi-truck. That's quite low. Our drivers were equally impressed, noting the smooth acceleration, comfortable design, and its ability to maintain speeds on steep inclines, even while hauling heavy payloads. This feedback underscores the enormous potential of the Tesla Semi. And Chesu Bian pushing his referral code as usual. The Tesla Semi will significantly reduce CO2 emissions, and it's the easiest Tesla product to sell behind Megapack. Why? Because businesses are the customers. Investing in Tesla Semi is a clear long-term win for trucking companies. Companies that fail to transition to electric trucks will struggle or go out of business. It's an economic imperative. For private cars, the decision is emotional. For businesses, it's purely economic. Mostly economic. There's still image and puffery involved, but it's a much smaller percentage because the dollars speak, especially for publicly traded companies. Got stuck behind a diesel semi-truck on an uphill this morning. It could only manage 40 kilometers on a 90-kilometer road. Kilometers an hour. 90 kilometers an hour. It's going to be the biggest difference for people around the semi. Tesla Semi is going to make a huge difference for people, especially in terms of efficiency and sustainability. Yes. Who wants to see Tesla partner with a coach builder and make something like this? I would absolutely love that and would jump on it. Bring it, baby. Guess how many the government says your employer has to pay you to wait in line for a charger and get charged? You're on the wrong thing, trucker. It's done during your break. At the end of your break, you plug in, there's no line, and you do what you do on your break already. It sounds like you're talking about fuel islands. Think outside the box. Chargers for those trucks, and Carson is a retired trucker, so he knows what he's talking about. Chargers for those trucks can occupy every space in a parking lot, just like idle air, and like idle air, you don't have to supervise them. Just plug it in and go on break. Yes, sir. They only work for day cab operations at the moment, but as a driver, you spend zero time fueling. You just plug it in at the end of your shift, go home, and come back the next day to start your run again. Yes, and the reasons right now are twofold. They don't have a sleeper cab, and the charging network is extremely limited at the moment. Why would anyone be waiting in line to charge? Exactly. It's gonna get a lot of damaged chargers, potentially fires. Why? The cable management exists. It's like we talked about that one with that rail where the charger cable sat in the rail, and the rail was like up to the top of the tire. So while it could be run over, the truck would be severely damaged to attempt it. A lot of damage, potentially fires, is your hyperbole supported by nothing. As massive amounts of money needed to be spent, it takes money to make money. Equipment wears out and must be replaced. The Tesla Semi ROI appears to be much higher than diesel. Ryder did an analysis. EVs aren't cheaper to operate, especially in scenarios that aren't hyperlocal. I covered this on my YouTube. Also, repair costs will be significantly higher on EV trucks since barely anyone will be certified to work on them. And you're making a lot of assertions here that are not backed by anything. You're just throwing stuff out there. We'll be certified to work on them. Shortage of mechanics, it's only getting worse. A single lot of Tesla semi-chargers could be 1/3 to 1/2 the power of a small to medium-sized city uses. That's a lot more than this in your Megapack. Everybody who's got mega chargers right now is using Megapack or similar because they're smart. They don't want those demand charges. Ryder did analysis. Ryder was not operating a Tesla Semi, and Run on Less has shown that fuel savings for PepsiCo using the Tesla Semi are significant for operations within a 300-mile radius. Barely anyone will be certified to work on them. Mechanics will need to be hired and trained, of course, but there is significantly less maintenance costs on a Tesla. Tune-ups and oil changes. Turbo, radiator flushes, and transmission overhauls are all gone. That's the point. Megapacks are meant to store electricity so as not to overwhelm a local grid. There will be need for more electricity generated, of course, but the claims that it's impossible are really reminiscent of claims that the cars will never replace horses, or that man will never fly, or that central air conditioning in buildings is never going to happen. That comparison is mentally handicapped. Electric and diesel accomplish the same goal. Yes, they do. However, diesel-electric hybrids have already proven in trains. Yes, they have. But the grid issue is very serious. It could be, but it's not. Californians have been told not to charge their cars when demand is high. You don't think that they would not dispatch to these batteries correctly? If it isn't working well in California, why would it work well in the middle of nowhere? It would work better there because they're not overloaded. It doesn't make sense unless the infrastructure is built first. It's built. They just need to build more of it. And they track. You're not going to overbuild your infrastructure and wait. You're going to build them in hand in hand. Because electric is expensive. Capacity is number one thing holding back electric vehicles. Actually, transformers. Number two, it would be the cost of electricity continuing to rise at a rate still comparable to the most efficient combustion engines. That's not a thing. Electric rates go up based on the price of operation and fuel. It's very simple math. If you run in California, you'd clearly be cheaper for electric vehicles. But if you live in Texas, it likely could be cheaper to run a combustion engine. No. I mean, there's a math where that would track, but not in Texas. I would also like to point out that most of the EV manufacturers are not transparent about the manufacturing process, and data is extraordinarily hard to find. Yeah, no, they're not going to tell you that about the gas trucks. But based on all the data I found, regular passenger cars have to make it to 100,000 miles just to even out. You're using some really old data. It's by the first or second oil change these days, depending on the manufacturer. Some of them it's before then, but if you take the fleet average, it's by the first or second oil change. They're done. Electric trucks have to take much larger batteries than the passenger car. Duh. And I imagine that the number is much higher. Yes. And I'm all for electric vehicles where they make sense. Oh, and you can access cheap commercial rates. Why would you not be able to access cheap commercial rates in a commercial truck? This guy's logic is not there. So that's another attack of small business owners. Small business owners already have a business rate for the electricity. What did this thing just do? Why did you flash on me? I only wanted you to go back once. Reload it, please. Using terms such as this are completely undermines any credibility you may have. Such insults are resorted to by those who cannot win a debate. If you're aware of any electric diesel semis, please share. There are some, but I don't know if they're in production, like not prototypes. But so far as I know, those only work on trains. The grid, once again, that is the entire point of the megapacks. There will be thousands of them, more than that. They can be charged when the demand is on the grid is low and release power when demand is high. Not only will they support the electric semis, but through AutoBidder software, they can support the grid itself. Yes. Many of California's grid problems are self-inflicted, absolutely, just like Texas. They are deregulated. They deregulated their grid, and it was not well maintained. Nevada, on the other hand, has a very stable grid because we retained our Public Utility Commission. Infrastructure will be built concurrently with the adoption of electric semis. Again, PepsiCo has just said that. The cost of continuing to rise, blah, blah, blah. And why in the world would it do that? Again, using Nevada as an example, the population has expanded 1,000% in the years I've lived here, and the generation has expanded from non-existent to completely supporting that population and industry, yet we have some of the lowest electricity prices in the nation. It's very simple math. If you run in California, it would be, he's quoting that guy, the math is indeed very simple, but unfortunately it does not work for you. Since you use Texas, let's do the math for Texas. The average cost of diesel in Texas is $3.07 a gallon, 0.9. And a diesel semi averages 6.5 miles per gallon, so the cost per mile is 47 cents. The cost of industrial electricity in Texas is 8 cents per kilowatt hour, and a Tesla semi gets 1.7 kilowatt hours per mile from everybody we've seen reporting it. So the cost per mile is 13.5 cents per mile. So just in fuel, before you get into the maintenance and all that other jazz, the electric in Texas is much cheaper, 13.5 versus 47. That's a savings of 33.5 cents for each and every mile. And don't forget, these things can do 100,000 miles in a year easily. Regular passenger cars have to make it to 100,000 miles to even out, blah, blah, blah. As I said, that's wrong. This is wildly incorrect and has been reportedly repeatedly disproven, but it's also beside the point. For the trucking industry, it's all about IRI and, of course, access to cheap commercial rates. Of course, they do have access to cheap commercial rates. It is already been proven to be cheaper to run an electric semi-truck and has nothing to do with small business owners. Yes. Okay, so let's do this. Let's go back up to the root of this thread. Here. We're going to do this. debunks electric semi FUD as seen on. Let's chat. Decent thread. Get educated. Make money. All right. Ron Fields. Go out of business. Okay. Now that we're done with that, I was only aware of Sawyer's post. I was not aware that Carson was on this one. So I talked about how Tesla could do some optimization. And over here at Not a Tesla app, we learned that Tesla, and I think this came to us from Mark at the Tesla Life, Tesla is adding a weather radar to Intel's vehicles with a video. The 2024 holiday update was originally only giving this to Ryzen cars, and this appears that it is working for at least Model 3 and Y cars with the Intel right there, Intel Atom under the guy's finger. Excuse me. Look at that. It's not too slow either. And it's even got the animations, just like on the Ryzen cars. There we go. So it's just a matter of optimization and care. That does take money and human resources, so that's probably why some of the stuff that's not physically impossible for the older cars to do, that I blame Tesla on trying to get us to buy new cars with. This is a throwback to earlier in the show. I don't think that they are doing it for the big stuff. I think they're just trying to annoy us to death for the small stuff to buy new cars, but not stuff like. They're walking a line. They are definitely holding back some stuff to try and get us to buy cars, but I don't think it was what that guy was accusing them of doing. Not at that level, anyway. Tesla started using audio and vision in 13.4. A couple of folks have shown where the car will pull over and wait for emergency vehicles running a siren, and they've shown where it doesn't try and speed past a bus, like a school bus with the stop bar out and the stop signs out and the lights flashing. They'll wait, and the stop sign comes in, and then they go. They've also shown where the car will slow down in an active school zone with the lights flashing, regardless of what the schedule actually is. So next on that, hopefully, would be being able to read the sign posted with the schedule for some of these schools, or go online and check, hey, this is a school zone. What's the deal? For the ones that haven't bothered to purchase and maintain a flashing light system for school zone speeds. I think that's annoying. If you're going to bother making them a zone, then the state or county should give them the lights. You can't expect strangers to run through your town to have to pull over and look as it's a school day. And for them to do the cautious thing of just do it all year round, yeah, that is the simplest way to do it, but it's going to get people hurt because you got some stranger to the town who slows down to 15 miles an hour. Everybody else is trying to do 45. Somebody's going to get hurt. So, separate issue. We should probably look at making sure that all school zones have a lighted active sign. One thing at a time. We've got what's described as a Tesla wiper Easter egg aero mode. basically, if you've seen your Cybertruck move the wiper at high speeds, what it's doing is it's trying to get it more aerodynamic. And it's not a slip of the gears or the wind pushing that massive blade around. It is trying to become more aerodynamic. Somebody was talking about it. Matt Wallace learned something new about Cybertruck from Wes Morrill yesterday. Remember the lead engineer? Higher speeds, the wiper will move slightly and enter what's called aero mode to help with efficiency and aerodynamics. Super cool to hear it directly from the guy who helped build it. I think there was a reply to that, but I don't really feel like clicking through because that was the point of what's going on. Here is what I thought we were looking at earlier. It's amusing to me. Honda has rebadged a Chevy. The Honda Prologue is already the third best EV selling in the US. It even outsells the vehicle it's based on. That's funny to me. Honda Prologue is the third best selling vehicle in the US. The electric SUV is trailed only behind the Model 3 and Model Y in sales. So it's firmly in third at that point because 3 and Y are just cemented there. With the 6823 Prologue sales last month, Honda has sold over 25,000 electric SUVs in the US this year. And the difference is, that's a big difference from not selling a single EV in the country last year. Or leasing, because they had that Fit EV lease that you could do for a little bit. Prices potentially fall under 40,000 with the federal tax credits, which may go away. Incentive reached a high of 14%. Honda's no exception, offering up to 18,000 in lease cash. Good gracious, including loyalty or conquest cash on the Prologue for about 37% off MSRP. That's strong. It's based on the GM's Ultium platform. Not just that; it's also based on the Equinox and Blazer SUVs, and it's outselling them. I predicted that after the October and November sales came out. It was not an amazing or unbelievable prediction because all you had to do was look at the monthly CT sales, getting clearly below the sales number of the Prologue for those 2 months. It was slightly amusing to suffer attacks from CT partisans who said that I was being a bad person for suggesting that it was clearly impossible. What happened? CT free sales ran out. 2 million backlog was gone. Okay, we don't know what's going on with Cybertruck. I'm not going to speculate on that, but I will say that yes, you could see that the Prologue was going to outdo its brethren. And congrats to Honda. And it'll be awesome to see what they do on their own car. It's got a front multi-link and rear suspension. So multi-link front and rear suspension. Has a sporty drive and also has a different interior setup. You can get it for as low as $47,400. After credit, as low as $39,900. Without the station fee. After the credit, it's $41,295. Oh, okay, that's with the destination fee. They put it back in. EPA range of 296 all the way up to 290. No, that is the high, 296. The low of 273. So congratulations to Honda. You can get a lease as low as $259 per month in December if you're ready to check out the electric SUVs for yourself. Back to the trucks. We've got not that. We've got no, I don't want to link to the paragraph. I want to link to the article. Our first clue should have been when it went from black to white. It's like, All right, so Drive Tesla Canada pointed out all of the public sightings we've seen of Tesla Semi. This partnership with Saya Inc., Tesla has delivered semis to Saya, PepsiCo, Costco, Walmart, Cisco, US Foods, DHL, Martin Bauer, and asking if we missed more from Dan Priestley. And yes, you have. I don't remember them all. Maybe 2 or 3. I'm not surprised that not in the not so distant future, every fleet will have a semi. Yep, Tesla semi. Thank you, except for the non-Tesla manufacturers, they would probably do something in-house or in partnership. Thank you for looking for this list. It's hard to keep up, getting pretty long for pre-production. List is longer than I realized. It's gonna be awesome. Nothing to see here. I am disappointed. No Coca-Cola. They signed up. Early on. Let's bookmark this and move to the next story. All right, so we talked about the NHTSA saying software update recall or software update service recall. And then Kyle Connor, our friend over there at Out of Spec Motoring, got a hand with Brandon Flash and I forget his name right now. Oh, yeah, I don't want to leave this site. I forget his name right now. From Inside EVs, test out all the chargers, and they got a chance to try out the IANA network. The IANA network is now live. IANA launches now. We brought our viewers to stress test the first site. Tom, I don't know why I forgot Tom's name. Tom, Brandon Flash, and Kyle Connor got a chance to do the grand opening of the IANA network. And the Rivian Outpost charging up, they had their first one open up. He did a video on that. It's built to millimeter perfection. If only every car could be screwed together as well as the B. I guess the B for Buzz. I don't care how well it's built. It's overpriced, underperforming. 27 years late. I'm salty. The Aria and Outlander are unfortunately charging to 100% with the holiday traffic line forming. But me and Andrew Stilton were about to range test the ID Buzz and Hummer 3X. I came across a Chevy Equinox EV owner this weekend, and they were having difficulty activating the supercharger network with their adapter. And I came over to help, and they left. They said, "Oh yeah, we're just gonna go to the bathroom, and it's easier to walk." That sounds like bull. So when we were done charging, I was like, "Let me just go past the Mercedes charger at this site," and they were there plugged in. I was like, you don't gotta lie to strangers. Just say, yeah, no, we want to use the one that doesn't need an adapter." It's like, why make up such a weird story? And yeah, they may have gone to the bathroom, but I was like, "Hey, yeah, come back, I'll help you." "Oh yeah, we'll be back." Waste my time. Say, "Oh no, we won't come back. Don't wait for us." The largest Tesla supercharger in the world is now open in Barstow. It's 120 stalls with 495 kilowatts of solar. Good gracious. 120 stalls. Expansion is now open, providing charging capacity for the Los Angeles to LA corridor. And is this a picture, or can I click on it? Oh, good. I didn't want to find it. They took me to a map, if you guys didn't see it. This is currently our largest supercharger in the world. It has pre-assembled supercharger units, 495 kilowatts of solar canopies, and it's trailer friendly. Hi-yo. So I had a chance to use a couple of these this weekend, where it had the prefab with the V4 dispensers, so the V3 Plus prefab. Really nice. The one thing I'm not used to, though, is the V3s have such thin cables compared to the V1 and V2 and V4. So if you're used to just whipping that little cable around, now you got to muscle it in and deal with it. Plus, it's like thicker. So that makes it easier than the Magic Dock ones so that it doesn't fall. And also, it's got that little lip for the 1,000 volt. So it'll work great with 1,000 volt cars like the Lucid Ocean and Tesla Cybertruck. Looks like I'm got to make a video. Yes, sir. Let's have it. Can Lindsay get like 8? We'll take V2 old if all you got is void of. There's a lot of charging deserts. It's quite annoying. There's void of charging starting sales in this population area of 250,000. All right, make it. We'll vote on it. put on the list, we'll click yes. Some of us. Insane. Barstow already has 70 and 16 salt station. Enough to charge 70 Model Ys per day. Solar has far to go. Oh, not even 2 at a time at peak charge rates. Oh, grid, we love thee. As we already saw on the environmental impact statement for last year, they put in more solar than they take out. So what if you're using the grid as a big old battery? You don't have to have all of them as physical batteries. Solar energy is just bonus free marketing. The shade cover benefit is real. Yeah, that's the other part. Is the shading during the charging further reduces demand on the electricity and on the grid. Tell us how much solar Rivian installed this year. Ooh. Oh, come on, guys. That's not important. And who is this guy? I love the outdoor sustainable tech. Solar advocate, striving to do well. Rivian referral code. This is a Tesla charger. Yes. And since you aren't real, they have solar and wind PP agreements and a windmill at the factory. Not that you care. Does Rivian offset the entire Rivian Adventure Network electric use with renewables? The SC Energy is powered by clean energy. Not to get in the middle of your argument. But Tesla does also do PP agreements and is a power company. In the most recent impact statement, they showed they put more into the grid than they took out. Now it's time for my article. Yes, buddy. Shameless promotion. All right, I'm getting distracted by the new tab articles. Oh boy, I should have done that. All right, so now we're going to x.com/gcustom. And then we're going to go to articles. And then which article did I use? It's my most recent article, From Superchargers to the Grid, How Tesla is Changing the Game for EVs and the World Along the Way. Copy link. I can't do that. Let's click into it. And then copy the link from the address bar. I read it wrong. Change the world for EVs, inviting the world along. Okay. And paste my X article. And all right. Please share the article stating supercharged 100% green. Oh, I did. Here's his Rivian. That's cool. Rivian is also 100% renewable. Good on Rivian. Yeah, that's good to know. Copy link. Go back to my article. It's quite an article. Add another post. Also, Rivian has followed this track, it looks like. At least somewhat. I'll put a link to him there. Courtesy of. Let's get him before he blocks me. Kevin Melnick. Just tag him as long as this article. At Kevin Melnick. There. Back here, close that. That's true. Maybe a lower use, it'll reduce demand charges. If it's got any mega packs on site too, when you're not charging and the sun is up, it'll help fill that bad boy up as well. They do have a ton of hydropower from the Hoover Dam, which is the best green power there is. Powers the strip. 500 kilowatts of solar doesn't do much when the site has between 20 to 30,000 kilowatts of peak demand. Yeah, but you're not going to be peaking it. They almost certainly would derate heavily if all 120 chargers were in use at peak demand. I doubt it could even pull 20 plus megawatts. Yes. I think peak would be 15 megawatts. Okay, whatever. And that is the end of the pre-scheduled stories. It was a shorter week for me. All that traveling. We came back on Tuesday, and then we had all weekend of traveling some more. So I want to thank all of you guys for dealing with me starting late today and sticking around for this longer runtime, shorter length show. And I want to thank our channel members and anybody else who's contributed to us. You notice that the intro to this one both has the old song that I keep getting not really struck for. So I need to immediately then go and tell them I do have the rights to the song. And you'll also notice it doesn't have everybody in it because I wasn't planning on using this software today. So I do apologize for the folks who are not on there. At some point, I will update this, even though I don't have any plans to continue using this software for me. I mostly use it for the Tesla Life show as I continue to work on the offline software. But because that computer back there is off, several of my systems are freaking out. I do have dual, actually quad DNS servers, but for some reason, these particular systems have stuck to the one that's off, which is not how it's supposed to work. You give them 2 DNS servers, they should hit them both up, either round robin or simultaneously and picking what's faster, or some sort of strategy that doesn't end up with them locked onto the same server. My Mac does this, whatever was speaking back there, the UV box, Robert tells me, and something else in here, including what looks like that other streaming software have stuck to the missing DNS server. So now I get to boot that back up. What happened was the SSD wore out. It was only the second time I've had that happen. I probably shouldn't have done it because the one that wore out was part of a pair with the previous one of mine that ever wore out. In fact, I think I got that here. I was reaching for it on the desk back there. So it was a Samsung 970 EVO Plus. This one failed out of the drive cache on 28 July of 2023. And the NAS marked it read-only. The other one was still healthy because you see here we are at the end of 2024, and it was still running amazingly. But now it still is. I put it back in the case to copy it because Grub didn't like my clone of it, and it still tried to boot. So I need to find a bootable imaging tool on that box, or what I'll do is I'll plug it into this table computer here, image it there, put in the new drive, image that, and put it all back in the machine. But that's too much faffing about. I'd rather just do it in the one machine. Anyway, that is too much of how much the sausage is made, and I will catch you all on the flip side. Again, thank you for watching, and those of you nerds who appreciated the details, there you go. I appreciate that you appreciate it. And on Monday, catch us for the Tesla Life Express over at the Tesla Life Show. On Wednesday is Christmas Eve, so Mark and I will be doing the Tesla Life Show, but we are not going to be doing it at the usual hour. Let me find my messages with him. We are going to be going at 11 a.m. Eastern Time on Christmas Day. I knew it was. It's Wednesday. We're not changing the schedule. We're changing the time. So Christmas Day. I'm sorry. Christmas Eve is a work day for a lot of people, and has nothing to do with what we're doing on the Tesla Life Show. Christmas Day, 11 a.m. Eastern. If you're on that show, we will catch you there as well. All right. That's enough for today. Thank you all for your time. I appreciate it, and we'll see you then. Happy New Year, Merry Christmas, Happy Kwanzaa, Happy Hanukkah, all that. Whatever you do, hope you enjoy it. to update this one as well. They're all done because I use them on the other show, on the other software. So it's just a matter of putting them on here. I will make a note.